What's up, guys? David Gravel here. Hopefully, you guys are tuning in for a second time, but we have some interesting topics to talk about. We are going to have not a co-host, but we are having another person on the stream here. We have a lot of exciting and new things we are working on with having guests on here, having videos while we talk. Um, Doing some split screen stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoy. And I'm going to do my best. Like I said, this is new for us. So um, we are going to, fight through some new things here. I'm not running the stream on my side, so I can't see everything that you guys are saying, but we're going to do our best. What's up, Clark? Or got questions already. This is going fast. Are you running Chili Bowl? No, I'm not. Or at least right now I haven't. I've had um, a few people offer me deals, but something I'm not really interested in at the moment. Um, what we'll be talking about is why, this really talked about topic is why are we not going to California early in the season in the spring? Also, um, Dirt Tracker Daily did a video on what it costs to run a World of Outlaws season. We're gonna, kind of link off of that a little bit, and then we were having Tyler Swank on the show, one of my early crew chiefs in my career, somebody that I got my first World of Outlaw win with, and a good friend of mine. He has a lot of insight on what teams spend, and kind of just been around the sport a long time and could put his 2 cents in about that. So let's look at some. Hello. Hi, David. Happy December. Do you like the Las Vegas Raiders? I am a Denver Bronco fan. So no, I'm not. Are you racing? No, I'm not racing. Hope to see you in Washington and Elma, maybe Skagit. We'll see you there. Favorite and least favorite change on the World of Outlaws schedule. So that's something we're going to talk about, Drake. That's definitely a topic that we're going to handle for sure. But for now, we're just going to make sure people get in here and yeah, we'll go from there. So I'm just trying to make sure enough people are in here that it's worth talking about. I know we got NFL football tonight, and a lot of people are at the PRI show, but also we need to put on our social media stuff that we are live currently. So yeah, we're gonna kind of just BS, answer a few questions, but not the main topics right this second, just so we have the right things to talk about. Earnhardt, thanks for tuning in. Ray Capella, thank you. Jimmy Ryan, thanks for tuning in. Eric Nelson, Joe Applegate, thank you. Racer14, Extreme Dog, K. Cole, Drake, all you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. They told me to lower my camera a bit, so that's what I'm going to do. Will Levi be on? Levi will be on for probably a short stint. He's looking really cute tonight, so we're going to have him for sure. All right, so it's tough, guys. I can't see all the questions extremely live like I did before, so work with me. We're trying to get some people on here. Yeah, there we go. So now my face is not on the question. Last year, tire shortage was a problem. Do you think this will be a problem again this year? I would say so. Obviously, from my understanding, the biggest issue with tires is workforce, kind of like everything in America. There's just not a lot of people working, or they're doing other things. So I know Hoosier had a real hard time with that. Materials was a little bit of a problem to my understanding, but not all the problem. It was definitely mostly workforce. I heard there's going to be a different Hoosier tire this season. I heard that as well. What track do you drag race at in Florida? Did the one you run at last year close? Yes. So you guys haven't seen any drag racing videos. One, my engine blew up in my Mustang, so that put me out. And also PBIR, Palm Beach International Raceway, closed down. They supposedly sold. in zoning, it didn't pass through. So right now it's in limbo. So I'm hoping somebody could buy it to resurrect it, because that track was only 25 minutes away from me, and that's definitely the track that I want to go race at. Jen, thank you for tuning in. Glad you do this. Interact, no problem. K. Cole, thank you. We got 98 people in here right now. That's not bad. Levi and Jill is doing good. We just had his 2-month appointment today. He weighs just under 12 pounds. He's 22 inches long. He got his vaccines today. So, yeah, he's doing good. Still a little small guy, but he's doing good. Wilder thing, when I first met you, I was a freshman in high school, and now I graduate college. Earnhardt, that's crazy, man. Known you for a long time, and thanks for being a fan. And yeah, we'll see you every year in Wisconsin, where the best fans are, I think. Have you made the choice if you're going full time outlaw or not? That's something that we'll talk about. We haven't made a decision yet, but truly, all the dominoes haven't fallen in the sprint car world yet. So there's no reason to make a decision currently because we don't know all the details. I got to get this chair out the way. It's ugly. When did you start racing? I started racing in 1999. I was about 6 years old, and I've been racing ever since. Man, this is tough. Let's see. Sad that you are not coming to Lernerville Speedway. What happened? To my understanding, the Firecracker race was always a World of Outlaw late model event, and Lernerville decided to make that a Lucas Oil event. And from there was some issues, and yeah, we lost the race at Lernerville. So now it's an all-star race, which sucks. Definitely wanted to race at Lernerville, one of my favorite tracks, a track I feel like I'm really, really good at. So yeah, it's a bummer. Any chance of running a high limit race? There is a chance. As of right now, we don't know what the contract's going to be like if we run the Outlaws. So we don't even know the high limit schedule either. So I feel like there's a lot. It's too early to say. Let me put it that way. Have you heard of Top Fuel Dragsters? Of course, I've been there. I know Ron Capps pretty well. I know J.R. Todd pretty well. I know quite a bit of the guys. So hopefully we get to go to another race. They tested here at Palm Beach International last year, 2 years ago, and obviously since it's closed, there's no more of that. Let's see. So are you guys subscribers on the channel? Are you guys subscribed, or you just saw this on my social media and you clicked on it? Let me know. I'm just trying to look. Let's see. Are you a fan of Wayne County Speedway, Sheldon's home track? Yeah, it's okay. It's really dusty though. It's an exciting place though, that's for sure. What would you be doing if you weren't racing? I love sprint cars, but I also love street cars. I love my Mustangs, Vipers, but just a huge motorhead. So I would definitely be doing something with cars, even though that kind of involves racing. But that's just what I like to do. I love sports too, but I'm a little short for that. We're headed down next Monday for 5 months in Jensen Beach, Florida. I'm sure you're looking forward to that. I'm not sure where you live, but it's a lot warmer down here. Did you see the video on the Outlaw season cost? It mentioned drivers get 50% of winnings. Is that the deal you have with Todd? So I won't tell you exactly what my deal is with Todd. That's kind of my personal business and our contract between each other. But we are going to post the video or just smidgets of the Dirt Tracker video posted by Justin Fiedler. There's a lot of good stuff on there, and we're just going to tap into kind of maybe a little bit more on the racer side to make those numbers a little bit more realistic. I think a lot of his stuff is really close, but there's some things that I feel like should be adjusted. What's up, James, Pete, Rodney, Captain, Pete, Chad, Doug, Eric, thank you for tuning in. Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Big. Any chance we will see you race in Australia? For sure. Levi's a little bit too young to us to want to go over there and him enjoy it. So as he gets older, we'll love to go over there as a family, make it a vacation and a race. So we love Australia. The Australian fans are awesome. I was there 3 times in my career and always had a great time. I never ran the best, but that was early in my career. So we will for sure um, be back over there at some point. Will the hauler be getting a new wrap? Maybe. Stay tuned, but I think so. Anything under the tree for you? Jeff at Velox Speed Shop. Yes, a lump of coal and actually 2 die-casts, 2 shirts, black shirts, waiting for you. Any idea on what the Wednesday and Thursday nights will be at Eldora this year's Kings Royal? And see, they aren't outlaw sanctions. See, everybody's asking these questions that are the title, and this is all the good, juicy stuff. And we're not going to dive into that until a little bit farther into the show. We'll have Tyler on the stream with us, Tyler Swank, and he could add his insight and his funniness. So I think you guys will enjoy Tyler. He's rough around the edges, typical sprint car mechanic, and we get along really, really good. So we will answer those really juicy questions, and it was not clickbait for the titles. These are real questions that we're really going to dive into and go from there. Thank you, guys. Scott, Eric, you're subscribed. Thank you. So Carter, my social media guy, he's controlling the studio here, which I can't see, which makes it tough for me. So he kind of gets to choose what comments get put up. I have my phone over here to the side, try to look at comments that I can't see as well. I see a lot of people say they're subscribed. I appreciate that. Yeah, things like that. So we're trying our best, and we'll go from there. I met the guy that was president of the midget club in Connecticut when you were young at the Kings Royal. I can't remember his name, but he has 2 daughters that race. He is a nice guy. I forget his name as well. Maybe Olette. Maybe I think he had two daughters that were last name Olette. Metcalf, been a subscriber, still got the best eyebrows in sprint car racing. Looking forward to a big 2023. You and the team are looking solid. Thank you, Metcalf. Appreciate it. I try to look good every once in a while. I do need a haircut bad, so don't judge me. This dad life's got me fat and need to get groomed up, that's for sure. Blaine says, just want to say I'm new to sprint cars, but you are by far my favorite racer. Blaine, I appreciate that. That's why I do what I do. Spread awareness. YouTube is such a huge platform. And yes, maybe not every sprint car fan has a YouTube channel and follows people or a YouTube account. But there's, tons of NASCAR or Formula One or late model or whatever that are on YouTube. And hopefully I get a suggested video and they click on it and get to see my stuff and then introduce them into sprint car racing and then hopefully one day get them to the track. Why aren't in the 5? I'm not sure exactly what that means. Ray, thank you. The decor is all done by me. I decorate this whole house myself, so thank you very much. That is a joke. Jill's watching and tuning in. She decorates the whole house. I just get the stuff out of the attic. Is that a model? Any plans for newer car design and thoughts as to when it will be shown public? So we will have a new car design this year. It's going to be, the Husits too. So it's still going to be somewhat similar, but I think you guys will like it. We did something a little bit different this past year, but the car is going to look really good on the track. And, yeah, we're really excited. What was your favorite chocolate milk this year? My favorite chocolate milk this year, it's hard to say. I can't pinpoint a certain one, but I've had about 4 or 5 local dairies that were amazing. And then Rudders. So Rudders is always up there. It's on the top. It's on the Mount Rushmore. But I would have to go back and look at the videos, and I gave some, excuse me, in the nines. And I think it was Pennsylvania, Wisconsin a little bit, but I think there's a lot of good milk in Pennsylvania. When at home, what brand chocolate milk do you drink? So I don't really have a lot of options down here. I would say Florida is not known for dairies. It's a little too hot for those cows, but um, we have Publix chocolate milk. I drink it. It's pretty good. I try not to drink Fairlife after seeing what they did to the cows. So I just drink the Publix one every once in a while. All right, so it's 7:46. We're gonna get Tyler in here shortly. Hopefully, he's in the studio and almost logged on, and we will get this all figured out. And yeah, we'll go from there. So I'm hoping my son and I get out to see you this season. He runs Silver City now. That's awesome. Silver City is the quarter midget track that I came from in Meriden, Connecticut. My buddy Johnny Morgillo revamped that place in the past few years by making this driver developmental program, and you literally give him $200. He supplies the car and everything you need pretty much to go racing, and you run the car all year. And at the end of the season, you give the car back and you get to see if you like it. And he's done a phase two program that he is giving rides, pretty much giving rides to kids that are above novices that have been racing to fill the fields. So he's, I think, implemented about 150 cars into Silver City, which I think they're at one point down to 90 cars a week, and now they're well over 100 every week. So it's pretty amazing. Have you raced Plymouth, Wisconsin? I have not been there. I have not. Let's see. David, looking forward to seeing you and your team up in the Dakotas this coming season. We love the Dakotas. Definitely Husitz. Looking forward to the 250,000 this year. Who's your favorite F1 driver? When did you start following? I grew up with Senna. Um, honestly, F1, I watched it more when I was younger. I was a huge Michael Schumacher fan. How could you not like the Marlboro Ferrari, car driven by Michael Schumacher? He was amazing. So I'm going to say I was a huge Michael Schumacher fan today. I wouldn't say I have a favorite. I respect Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen. Lewis Hamilton lives an awesome life, gets to hang out with a lot of cool people. And then Verstappen has just been killing it here the last year and a half. So I can't say follow it too close. I'm typically not awake early enough on Sundays to watch it, but definitely love it. Levi will be on the show at some point. How can we not show him? Jill's got him all dressed up in his jammies, and he looks cute. Let's see. Do you know why the Outlaws do not come to Oregon? Just moved from California. I believe the track in Oregon has Willamette has really small grandstands and can't really support a full paying World of Outlaw race. I asked you this question at Port Royal. What does it take to beat the posse? Well, I don't know how to beat the posse the last 2 years because I haven't won there. So the posse's been pretty stacked. They're really good at Port Royal, and Williams Grove's kind of hit or miss, but definitely want to get back to Victory Lane in Pennsylvania. If you had to choose a track between Tulare and Hanford, what is your favorite track? So that's tough to say. I like them a lot, but I would say in this past year, if we're going off that sample size, I'm going Tulare. I don't like what they did to Hanford in the past couple years, narrowed the track up. Not a fan of the changes. Who's your best friend on the World of Outlaws? I'm gonna say Brad Sweet, Carson Macedo, and I'm pretty good friends with Jacob Allen and also Logan Schuchart. Have you ever came to Southern Illinois and watched a high bank hustle, or been to drive a micro for the hustle? Nope, I've never been to Southern Illinois. Tony Kanaan. I don't think Tony Kanaan, Aldo, is an F1 driver. I think he's an IndyCar driver. I just answered this question. I was a little bit ahead of the game, but Yep, never been to Southern Illinois. Any safety issues you'd like to address within the world of Outlaws? Well, we are mandatory on having to do fire suppression this year, so that's going to be very interesting um, to see how that all works out. But obviously, a driver never wants to be on fire, so hopefully, it's a positive change. Hopefully, it works, saves some people's skin, somebody's lives. Um, and I hope it's a really good decision. Chuck G, any more Silver Crown races? I don't know. It all depends on what happens with the World of Outlaws and if we're committing to a full time series. Um, it's so hard to do any other type of racing when you're doing that. When I ran that one Silver Crown race, I was able to run it because I didn't commit to the World of Outlaws full time. That's when I dabbled in the truck stuff and it was a little bit not more open minded, but I just wasn't a full time outlaw. So it was a little bit easier. Fire suppression is a big safety positive. I do agree. Sprint cars are very rough vehicles, and we don't have a closed-in cockpit, so hopefully nothing makes them go off by accident. That's my concern, but I think it's definitely be a great thing if there is or when there is a fire. That's for sure. Clark says, if you're bored next weekend, come to the Homestead Miami Sprint Kart race. Maybe we'll see. Never say no. You should get Rico on here. I hope so. I asked Rico. He's a good friend of mine. He wanted me to go in on his Instagram live. So I think I got to go on one of his and he'll come on one of mine. Wash each other's back there. Have you ever ran Ocean Speedway with the World of Outlaws? What are your thoughts? I think I ran there one time. Definitely not my favorite track. I would say Tulare, Hanford, Calistoga, Merced. Those would be kind of my top four. Obviously, Calistoga is kind of going away, but didn't like Merced when I was there. I'm sorry, Ocean. With Eldora on Speed Week. I think we got Tyler close to being on. We're here audio. Could you hear me, Tyler?
I can hear you. I
right.
can't see you.
Oh no.
I can see you. I can't see me.
Yep. It on the bottom it says like stop cam or start cam.
Oh my gosh. I can go to Pornhub and figure that shit out. Let's see. There's mute, start cam. It's like got an X to the cam deal.
Yeah. So in the beginning on the settings, like you could test it out before you joined the lobby. Do you want to could you go back to that? Right. Like you could test your microphone and then choose, you could choose your video.
Should I just start over?
Yeah. Maybe we'll kick you out, but it should be able to work before he sends you in here.
All right. It just said allow. Hey, there I am.
There we go. You're there.
Phew, the magic of technology.
Yeah.
I just got indoor plumbing last week.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I would go outside and shit in a box,
You got dial up or what?
Yeah, it's got the old AOL deal going on.
Oh, nice. I remember that the 3 boxes, it took forever to log into your AIM screen name.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You're drinking Michelob Ultra, low calorie, I see.
Drinking diet beer. Yeah.
That's good. What has this world come to?
I don't know. I have no idea. Something bad's going to happen.
Yep. So everybody's been asking questions, but they all want to know the juicy stuff on, what's going on. Why aren't we going to California with the Outlaws in the first part of the year? They want to know what's going on before Kings Royal, not having the historical big one be World of Outlaws sanctioned. So what's going to happen? And then we got some other things to talk about, but we'll start with the scheduling because a lot of people obviously from California are complaining about not World of Outlaws going to the spring races out there. And we're supposedly going to Pennsylvania when it's going to be really, really cold and rainy. But from what I've been told or what I have learned is everybody complains of going to California, especially in the beginning of the year. The past couple years, they only schedule 3 weekends, and then typically at least one weekend rains out, and it's expensive as hell to be out there in California. And there's no really teams based in California other than Roth, and then maybe then just a local team. So, are you for or against it? I know obviously you're not running the Outlaws, but you have. Like, did you hate going out to the West Coast in the spring?
Usually when I always went, especially when I first started, we would be out there for 4 or 5 weeks. And, when it didn't rain, it was worth your while. When diesel fuel was $2 a gallon, it was worth your while. When hotels weren't $250 a night, it was worth your while.
Yep.
But, I can, at least if you go to Pennsylvania and you get rained out, most of us can go back to the shop.
Yeah, it's
If you're out
driving
in
distance.
California, it just, a lot of us aren't really, the pillars of fitness out there on the outlaw deal. So, like to where if you go get a freaking Big Mac meal in Pennsylvania, it's what is it now, $8 or $9? I haven't had fast food in about a year, so I don't
Yep,
know. But
yep,
out in California, it's $15, $16. So
yep,
yeah, it sucks. It totally sucks that the Outlaws don't go to California and all that because Tulsa's cool. I mean, I always liked it. I always liked going out there, but it's just kind of the nature of the business, the nature of the beast right now, and it times are shitty for people, times are good for people. It depends on what line of work you're in and what business you're in and whatnot. And it's the way it is right now. And I
yep.
would hate to be in charge of the social media deal when either the Outlaws or the All Stars put their schedule out because you got everybody pissing and moaning about shit. It's like,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
be thankful we got races, and then be thankful that you can watch the races now. Because back in the day, maybe people complained as much back then too. I don't know, but
we just didn't know about it because you couldn't see
no,
it.
they'd bitch their wife, slap her around, make them a sandwich, and that was that. Now you got to
Yeah,
listen to some freaking jack off sitting in his fucking basement,
yeah,
bitching about.
yeah,
Sorry, mom.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you get where I'm going with it. It's
yeah,
just you're not
yeah,
going to make anybody happy, but it's just the nature of the business right now, and it is what it is. So
yeah, yeah. No,
there's a
I
lot of
agree.
places other than California that I think that they should be going to that they're not.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it is what it is. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. Everybody in the comment section, what's your opinion on no California? Are you guys California people, or you guys pissed off? You happy? I would say if you live in Pennsylvania, you're happy. The icebreaker seems to be a 50-50 thing. It either snows or whatever, and it's really wet and heavy, and it's kind of a shitty race, in my opinion. But yeah, Tyler doesn't sugarcoat it. Yeah, nice. Right. We're not bringing politics in here. This is no
Yeah, right.
politics. All right. Damn, Ray, trying to stir the pot. Um, but yeah, I would say it sucks because now we don't have Tulare on the schedule because the second West Coast swing, we're going to not be out there very long. So I think we lose some of the cool tracks, but Merced's kind of cool now with the banking. That place kind of takes rubber a lot, but that's a pretty cool track. But, you know, it's a little bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. I know all the California people are gonna be pissed off, but it kind of makes sense financially. You know, Shark Racing, CJB Motorsports. You know, all those guys are way on the East Coast. Them going all the way to California, sitting out there for 3 4 weeks. It doesn't really make any sense. We don't race enough. If we race during the week, maybe on a Wednesday, for a full purse, you know, that would help out the cost, but there's two options from what I was told. Either we were going to have a sponsor that paid additional tow money for us to go out there, or we were not going to go out there. And supposedly the extra sponsorship or extra tow money thing did not happen, and we end up not going, out to the West Coast. So hopefully that puts that topic to bed. I want to talk about another thing. Carter, hope you're listening. We're going to play a little video. Have you seen the Dirt Tracker Daily guy posted a video about what it costs to race a sprint car today? A World of
Uh,
Outlaw team?
you're asking me that?
Yeah.
No, who's that guy?
Yeah. He's Justin Fiedler. He's the one that used to be on the podcast that the Outlaws used to do.
Oh, he's the open red guy. Okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
old
he's the
open red
tire
guy.
changer in NASCAR.
Correct. Yep. He's a tire
Okay.
changer, and then he has his own like YouTube channel and social media, and it's really
Yeah,
blown up good.
I know who Justin Fiedler is. I've seen a couple of his things. I just didn't know what the title of it
Yeah.
was.
So what we're gonna play a video, and while it's playing, Tyler, it's gonna be muted, but you'll be able to see the graphic on what he's talking about. But he breaks it down by hotels, motor rebuilds, payroll, all those things. He had it. He had it around like the $600,000 operating costs. And I know you probably would know what it costs when you ran the Canaric team and the Outlaws, 7, 8 years ago. But, shit costs so much more nowadays. But you guys are probably in the higher echelon of teams at that point. Do you know what they spent per year roughly?
We had it figured up and we were overkill on a
Yeah.
lot of things,
Yep.
but it was like 8 or 9 grand a night just to drop the door.
Yep. Yep.
That's what it was. I don't remember the exact bottom line, but it was 8 to 9 grand a night. Well, if you take that time, just to say, take 8 grand times 100 races, that's 800,000.
Yeah, yep. And
So
and you know how much more motors are today as when they were then, and tires and diesel fuel and hotels. So I
yeah,
think it's probably 20 or 30% more today than probably when you did it.
if you say 8 grand back in the Canaric when I was at Canaric, I say you could probably say 10 or 11 now. And that's the big teams. That's not,
Yeah,
like even the team I'm working for now, I don't consider it a big team. It's got potential and we're working towards that. But,
yeah.
I'm bankrupting this guy for spending that a night. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, Canaric, you're unlimited. Todd, we're kind of unlimited. KKR, TSR. Now maybe the 41 car. Not now. These teams are spending whatever you need to win races, and that's kind of what I think Canaric did as well.
yeah.
But said he was open to corrections on his estimates. Yeah. So I don't know why Carter is slacking for bringing up this video, but we'll just continue on talking about it. What would you?
And about 370,000 of that was race winnings. Another 65,000 was the points payout, and that leaves 68,250 in tow and bonus money. If Sheldon got half of the winnings and points payout, that leaves the team with just shy $290,000. That means a shortfall of about $330,000 to make up for in sponsorships and support. When it comes to that extra support, teams are obviously going to sell sponsorships for straight cash, but they also get product deals. That's going to lower their costs for things like parts and chemicals through a year. There's also contingency money available throughout.
So I don't know. The biggest thing, did you see engine rebuilds was 30,000?
Is that 30 for the year or is that 30 for the
30 for the year.
I
So
think that's on the low side.
I think that's way off in my opinion.
Yeah, that's way off.
I mean, what would you say is you guys are rider now, right?
Well, we're kind of a Heinz 57 mutt deal with we got Ryder
HP.
TRDs, we got HP Chevys. We're going to get a couple Speedway TRDs next year. But when I worked at the 17 car, our rebuilds were anything from 12 to 15,000. Okay,
Really?
so let's say you run 100 nights.
Yep.
And 100 nights times 15,000 is what, 150,000?
Yeah. Yeah.
10, yeah, because they didn't want you running over 10 nights because the $15,000 rebuild was better than going 11, 12 nights, shitting the rods out of it or breaking something at the top end. Because if you break one thing, it kills everything, and then it's a $25,000-$30,000 rebuild. So that 30,000 is way off.
Yeah. I think that was the biggest thing. I think everything else is pretty close. He had shop at 40,000. I think diesel is like 50 grand. It's hard to see all the numbers currently with how the screens are. Maybe if Carter put me above you and we were stacked on top of each other, we could see the numbers, but we'll work on that. But I would say, I don't know if 10 or 15,000, that seems like a lot. I think on the low end is what, 6,000 can be a rebuild, but on the high end would be 15.
I know like the one-man band guys, like the Morrisons and the Garrett. I can't speak for Garrett because I've never seen his, but like the guys with lower overhead,
yeah,
they're less.
They
I know
are
10
really.
HP is less.
Okay.
But everything depends on location because like motor rebuilds in Torrance, California, where Shaver is, is going to be
Yep.
more expensive than Spring Grove, Pennsylvania, or
Yeah.
Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
For
kind of
sure.
apples and bananas. But I would say let's just say $10,000 a
Yeah.
rebuild. Because
Yeah.
sometimes it's going to be 8, sometimes it's going to be 12. So that's still 100 grand just in rebuilds.
Yeah, I would say 75 to 100,000 is realistic. 30, in my opinion, is way off. You're always going to have something if one motor needs sleeves, or if you break something, you know what I mean? That's when the rebuilds definitely get more expensive. And if you're racing at the outlaw level on a top-notch deal, you're not going to, if for example, you look at Shark Racing, they probably stretch things longer than they should. And I think, in my opinion, they probably blew up 4 or 5 engines in the last couple months of the season. And, that obviously ends up being more expensive in the long run. But, Bobby's a wheeler and dealer, and he could probably build a brand new motor for 35, 40,000.
Right.
Stretching stuff never does you any good. And that's what I've learned. That's for sure.
Well, it's either pay now or pay later.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, we don't risk it, and we run the piss out of it. Your driver runs the piss out. He's 9,500 every night. Like, you just can't run these motors 15 races anymore. It's just the way it
No,
is.
no, it's just, yeah, exactly. I mean, you can get away with it, but you're going to suffer. And it's kind of a yin and yang thing. So let's say you go on the conservative side and you run 10th every night, you're making 2 grand. But if you go towards hey, let's freaking run this thing on the edge,
Yep.
your money you brought in more. So it's kind of the whole, depends
Yep.
on what you want. So I've
Yeah.
always looked at everything. It's like, what am I making at the pay window? I mean, if I have a motor that absolutely rips, but I got to change valve springs on it every morning before I change the oil, I would
Yep.
rather do that than have something the last 20 nights but the valve springs we can rerun again. But yeah, but we're third row of the heat race.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. They got to
it doesn't
qualify.
make sense. So
Yep. Yep.
and
Yep.
these car owners, they'll spend the money if you're winning or
Yep.
in the hunt. If you're running 10th every night, yeah, but dude, I've saved you all this money. These guys don't want money. This is probably a whole nother topic, and I'm talking out my ass here a little bit, but I've never had a car owner go save me money.
Yeah. Yep.
It's always
Yep.
been, what do we got to do to win?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So,
For sure. Definitely the
that doesn't
ones
mean you
that.
don't get stupid, but it's just, it is what it is.
Yep. Everybody's in here to taste that thing of victory.
Taste
Uh,
something.
Yeah, let's see. My uncle Rod's there. He said, appreciate his attempts at giving everyone ideas of cost. I think, you know, shout out to Dirt Track Daily. He does a lot of good stuff. Justin Fiedler, we use his video. But I think another thing he also didn't accommodate is, I would say 10% to the crew chief is pretty normal nowadays. They know that, 40 to 60% goes to the driver, and then you got another 10% on top of a crew chief. And then sometimes the lower guys get 2.5 or possibly 5% as well. So I think a lot of the earnings definitely gets paid back off to the employees and not really the team. So yes, winning races definitely helps the teams out, but not as much as the employees, in my opinion.
Duh, you
Yeah,
hit the nail on the head there. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So like Aaron, most guys are 50. I'm
yep,
10. So
yep,
that's 60% that gets divvied out. So
yep,
there's 40 left for the car owner, and that might just kind of slow the bleeding down a little bit.
yeah.
So
They could pay for a bill or two.
yeah, it might cover, let's say, hotel rooms, or in our case, we don't leave we're somehow tied to the farm a little bit more than what I'd like to be, but
Yep,
it might help just with the tire bill, or
yeah,
pay for a couple rebuilds or something like that. So
yep. I think everybody should tell the Outlaws to kick rocks. Look at Brent Marks making over 600,000 in one season without being signed to any series. So I think that was all right. So Tyler's got a different outlook than I do, but I'm
I
sure
do.
you'll.
Well,
I
what's
think
your outlook?
I think you'll agree with me. But if you're running 10 seasons running sprint cars, I think you'd make the most money racing the World of Outlaws on average. Now this year, Brent Marks won the most money because he won $275,000 in 2 races. And yes, he won other races and won other things to bring up that to 600. So he still made 325,000 other than that. but the lucky bastard also was able to take 3-4 weekends off throughout the year. So I am very jealous of Brent Marks that he brought in the most money this year and he got to take weekends off to stay fresh or make sure his equipment or his best engines were ready. So I don't agree with what you said, Zach, just because I have a little bit different outlook. Yeah, he made 600,000, but Brad Sweet got a $200,000 check at the end of the year for winning the points. We got $100,000 check. I believe we brought in like 37,000 in that bonus money that was never around this year, and then we never had to pay for a pit pass, and the team got tow money. So even though it looks like Brent made 600 something, we're still in the ball game of 550, 580, almost 600,000 that we brought in with everything together. But Tyler has run the Outlaws. I know in your career at some point you didn't want to run the Outlaws and do a pick and choose schedule. So what is your opinion,
I've
Tyler?
never wanted to do a pick and choose schedule.
No,
just from a simple fact, it's more freaking work than running the Outlaws. But that's
Yeah.
probably a story for another day.
Yeah.
But like Brett Marks, here's a little inside Iggy for you. When we were looking for a driver for the 17 car, you were the first one to break our hearts.
Yep.
Kerry was the second one to break our hearts. I wanted Brent Marks. So there, I think Brent Marks is a hell of a race car driver. So
Yeah.
we're not
for sure.
we're not taking anything away from him for what he did.
Yeah. Oh,
But
for sure.
winning 2 crown jewels in 1 week, there's probably realistically sitting here, if we're not bullshitting ourselves, there's 2 guys that can do that.
Yeah.
So what he did was amazing, and he earned it. He deserves it.
Yeah.
Brett Marks is good. His little program is good. They've got their shit together.
Yep.
But everybody looks at the Brent Marks things like, oh, well, it's almost a disrespectful thing. Well, Brett Marks made 600,000 picking and choosing. It's like, dude, Brett Marks is a good race car driver.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just, I see that as being, not you or anybody, but there's people that's like, well, Brett Marks did that. And it's like, well, yeah, good on him. He's got a good little program there.
Yeah.
But everybody else now thinks they can do it. So
Yep.
it's not that easy. It's, like Kyle Larson in 20 won 732 races or something like that, 730.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever see that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my lifetime. So
he had an insane winning percentage. Obviously,
yes.
Macri had a crazy year. But guys like Gio and stuff like that, they've won like a lot of races that were kind of unsanctioned and stuff like that. And I think when you race for the Outlaw purse every night, the money stacks up a lot faster. But when you win 20-something races like Marks and Macri did, you're going to win a lot of money. And then obviously Macri swept Port Royal, won a lot of money, the Tuscarora and the Outlaw shows. So he banked a lot of money just at Port Royal alone. But
right.
yeah, it's interesting to see and say the late model thing has gotten everybody fired up with you can make more money, not, going to one series. And in my opinion, I don't know what the best thing is. Obviously, Jonathan Davenport's laughing at everybody. He brought in $2 million in a late model, but we also had $1 million to win race. So Mark's got lucky. He won some big races, but you can't guarantee that you will win those races. Big races are not a guarantee. You can't budget that. I agree. You can't budget winning the big races. That should just be like a cherry on top or gravy, or obviously you strive to want to win those. But yeah, the guaranteed money is going to be less. You look at a guy like, say, Danny Dietrich or guys that race their asses off, Justin Peck. Like these guys, all these PA guys, Justin Peck, Danny Dietrich, and probably Macri, they race the most. If you look on sprintcarratings.com, they show you like they've ran like 15 more races than us, at least 15 more races than us. So they race their asses off, so you could do that when you have an open schedule. Jeff says, thanks for doing this, David and Tyler. Who do you think is the up-and-coming young gun? By the way, I'll bring venison sausage and Wisconsin cheese down to Florida. All right, bring it to Volusia. I'll eat all the venison. If you got backstrap, save some for me. So I'll answer first, and then I'll ask you a question, Tyler, the number one. or an up and coming sprint car driver. Obviously, Ryan Timms is highly talked about. I think he's definitely one of the three that is up and coming. Brent Cruz is not known as well. He's a more of a micro kid, and I think he's trying to get pushed through Justin Marks and Trackhouse a little bit. I think he's super talented. And then, man, a third. Who else is really stout here? The quickest chicken dude. He's okay. I think he's pretty good.
360s, man. You got to get out of the 360s.
Yeah, I would say Ryan Timms and Brent Cruz are my top two. You see it with the younger drivers. I feel like there's a lot of huge guys that are flash in the pan, but could they develop and continue to get better and better? It seems like some kids could plateau, but I think Ryan Timms has the ability. So I think he's kind of the clear choice. He's the hot topic, but what's your opinion?
Corey Day.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot Corey Day.
Corey
Yep, he's
Day,
on the list.
and there's this little hockey player that races down at Knoxville. He needs a haircut, but Riley Goodnow.
Okay, yeah.
They're willing to spend the money, and they're racing his ass off. If he can maybe get some help, or I think they want to travel more. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Got to get out of the 360s. Bad habits. Get out of, when the quick and chicken kid and, good. No, they just need to sell them. Get rid of them. You want to be a freaking professional race car driver, get rid of the 360s. I will say that till the day I die. And I know we won the 360 nationals and we won some 360 races, but that's where our little team's at right now. We just got to do what we got to do. But I'm telling you, them things will create bad habits. And, you didn't run 360s that much. I never heard Brad, we did. I don't know. When I raced with you on the 89G, we went to Little Rock that one. You won your first Outlaw race at Talladega, and we went into frickin' Little Rock, big swinging dicks with some big dick in it. We're going to come here and kick their ass. Dude, you look like Ned and the Primer. We couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. So I think that's the only time you and I were in 360s. I never heard of Brad Sweet running a 360. Yeah. Donnie Schatz kind of did, but they got the hell out of them thing. I'm telling you, if people study the history of how to build a race car driver, it ain't freaking 360s. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's not 360s.
Yeah. So
on top of it, that they're just as much money as a 410 now, and you're racing for half the money. The economics don't make sense.
Yeah, that's definitely a main topic I want to talk about one day, because there's a problem in Florida, and I want to try to help Florida with sprint car racing. But to go back on Corey Day, I think he has the ability to be the fastest guy on the racetrack. He has like this one lap speed that I believe nobody else has. It's almost like a Kyle Larson speed for a lap. And if he learns to put a full A main together and gets his stuff together and is focused and really wants to do it, I think he has the potential to be very, very good. Obviously, his dad raced. He's kind of bred into it a little bit. But we'll see. These young kids get maybe pushed or not pushed. Some people could take it. Some people cannot. But I think he has the ability. I think he has the ability to be faster than Ryan Timms. It's just who's going to mature and, be the Kyle Larson, to be on the edge, nearly crashing half his laps, but not crashing and winning 80% of the time. I think that's the biggest thing, is car control on the edge of out of control is always the biggest thing. So talking about the 360s, so I agree with you. Reason why we sucked at 360 nationals or short track nationals is the motor we ran was not very good. Rob Hart put an MSD ignition on that thing. Like when we got it, it still had a Vortex mag on it. It was kind of not up to date, but yeah, whatever. That's the short track nationals. That could happen. I think it poured that year and the pits were muddier than hell.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was one of those seemed like a good idea at the time moments, but the only thing we did after the races, well, you didn't because you were like 12 years old, but Tyler, was Ripper with? Yeah, Ripper was with us. Tyler and Ripper punished our livers pretty good, but
yeah, you do that.
And I say that with all due respect, because I know there's, I've seen some good 360 rate, but just being where I guess I've been, for me, I don't like the things. Yeah. I mean, I don't hate them. sometimes it's fun to go to a 360. I tell you what, in all honesty, we did the short track nationals at Little Rock.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they're called with Aaron this year. And I hope they don't see this or record this, but I actually kind of had a good time with that for a little bit. But but other than that, if you're going to build a race car driver, don't even think about 360s. Maybe the first year or two, so the guy can learn how to start the car and get pushed off, and
Yep.
just all that. But then I say that, and there's a couple guys running 410s at Knoxville that probably should be in a 305. So
Yeah, you're
that's
always
probably
gonna.
a whole nother topic at another time.
Yeah. There's never enough time to talk about them all. But 360s are just broken. I mean, there's no other way to sugarcoat it. When I ran 360s with the URC, we bought a two-race old engine from Donat. It was used by Fred Raymer to run the Casey Kane Foundation races, and it was $36,000. That was with the Dragon Claw injection, all the new latest and greatest, and it was 36,000. And today a brand new 360 is higher 50s, lower 60s for whatever, 65 for the baddest that you could get, right? Like, so you're spending the same, literally the same. And back when I ran 360s, you could run the motors 20, 25 nights, I believe, right? What do they run? About 15 nights
We,
now?
we, we can still get 20 out of ours.
You
Ours are
still get
built
20.
really good, and if we keep them clean, and take care of them, we can get 20. We could probably get 20 plus out of ours, if we ran Knoxville in some little places. But at the end of the day, our like 410s at Knox, just using Knoxville as an example, pays $5,000 to win.
Yep.
360s pays $2,000 to win.
Yeah. Yep.
Economics.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense anymore, right? Tires are the same. It was always you could buy a nice 360 for 20, 25,000, run it 25 nights. And the ASCS paid 6,000 to win in the glory days when Shane Stewart ran it and Jason Johnson and Brady Bacon. I think that was the best time, and that was the pinnacle of running 360s. But now ASCS, in my opinion, is kind of dead. And it's no disrespect. I'm just stating my opinion on it. And they're just not the big names that run it anymore. And there's just no money in it, in my opinion. I think there needs to be 305s, a great starter division, and there needs to be 410s, and everything in between needs to go away. California's sprint car world is completely screwed up. They pushed 100% through to 360s. Skagit was always a 410 track. They moved that to 360s. Now they want to bring it back to 410s with Rudine owning it, and then the King of the West, the SCCT, all those. It's a mess, right? You pay 2,500 to win for an SCCT race in California, and they have 60 cars. And then you have a King of the West 410 race that pays like $4,000, and they got 17 cars showing up. So a lot of America is screwed up with 360 410 racing, but I think eventually it's going to weed itself out, and I think it's going to be more 305 and 410 racing because a lot of the powerful people in sprint car racing are pushing for that as well.
No, I agree with you. I would see back when I was going to Knoxville, they had the 360s used to be the limiteds. They had small wings, steel wheels, everything. It was basically a step up from a street stock, but that
Yep.
was your feeder division.
Yep.
Now we've like God bless them, they're business people, but like the hierarchy at the ASCS back in the day, I'm not going to name any names, Emmett Hahn, but said, well, we can make money off of this. So, which good on them. They marketed a deal and they took advantage of a situation. But as far as big picture, I don't know. If you're building, I just go back to if you're building a race car driver, stay away from the 360s. And to me, having everything pretty much the same price, other than you can run maybe a 360 10 more nights, but you're racing for 40% of the money.
Yep.
And it just because when I pull up at the co-op in Helcona, USA with our rig, when I go into prepay, because they're back in the Stone Ages too. They don't ask me. They're like, "Hey, do you have a 410 or a 360 tonight?" Because that, diesel's diesel.
Yep.
So it all costs the same. So
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So
Pit
Florida
passes are still the same.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody's got carbon fiber bodies, titanium bolts, and sweet wing valves, and vortex wings, and They got all the expensive stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
when I did the ASCS deal back in the day before I got with you, I was amazed that the 360 guys cared more about weight than the 410 guys. It was ridiculous.
do
It's
you
like,
remember
isn't
that
this
team
supposed to be the
Kyle Hurst?
economy class?
Yeah, remember that team Kyle Hurst drove for that GP development car? That was like a super high end car. That was really nice back in the day.
Vaguely, vaguely. I
Yeah, it was
remember
a
that.
number 6, I think. It was like beautiful, like everything money could buy on that thing.
Yeah.
People are asking how do they survive on the ASCS tour? I don't think many people do. I think they probably have 3 to 5 people that actually do it.
I don't pay attention enough because I don't care enough to give a shit about the ASCS tour.
Yeah, yeah, I don't pay
Sorry.
attention. Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
this is a podcast. People can say whatever the heck they want.
Well,
It's
thanks.
15 hours to get to a 410 show from here at 360. It is tough to uproot your family to support your hobby. Well, I don't know where like this guy is that has only 360s by him, but um, to me, 410s are going to be what's going to be around. Like I don't even know where there's just 360s at nowadays. I know California has a lot of 360s, but I mean everywhere else, like you look at like Eagle, they have a 305 series. The Southeast, they got 305s like in Georgia and stuff. Oh, Alberta, Canada. Yeah, that's different. Canada's a different country, so Raz 406. I'm sorry, you got to come to America. No free healthcare, but you come to America.
Where's he at? Alberta?
Alberta,
I'll
Canada.
tell you what, Canada has some of the best looking women I've ever seen in my life.
The French
For sure. No
Canadians.
cap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, did you ever go to we went to Drummondville up by Montreal where they all have that poontang shit with the
Yeah, poutine.
that
Yeah.
poutine.
Yeah.
It probably all
Yeah.
tastes just as messy.
Yep.
The
Yep.
freaking the like Montreal area. I mean, I
Yep.
might move there. You know what? Screw this. I'm out. I'm moving to
Yeah.
Montreal. I don't know
You
what
can
I'll
hang.
do.
You can hang out with your buddy Kevin Lovey up there.
I forgot about Kevin. I wonder what he's up to these days.
He's working for that Paulie Collie Giovanni guy now.
Paulie Collie Giovanni. Paulie
Yeah.
Collie Gio Celsi.
Yeah. It's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Another kid
I
that's
give
pretty good.
Johnny Gibson props, like listen to him for all seriousness, all bullshit aside, listen to him for 100 times a year. You just kind of, the shtick gets old. But since
Yeah.
I've been stuck, since I've been voted off the Outlaw Island
Yep.
and kind of been back here, like, dude, that guy, that guy can make freaking rectal surgery exciting.
Yeah.
He is
Yep.
so good. And the way he can rattle off names, Paulie Collie Giovanni, just like, and it's not like Giovanni or gravel to the inside. It's like Paulie Collie Giovanni. It's like, dude, Johnny Gibson's got his shit together.
Yeah. He's
White pants and
definitely.
all. The guy's the cream of the crop.
Yeah. Yeah. It's he's definitely the best. He makes it exciting. It's all about it. Yeah, he's loud and all those things, but that's part of it. I think people come partially because of how good of a job he does as well. I think if Bruce Buffer wasn't a part of UFC, I don't think they'll be as exciting. Like,
You locked up, David.
oh no,
Oh, there you are.
we're good.
You're good. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
good.
like Bruce Buffer makes UFC. Like he gets you fucking
Yeah.
pumped up when there's a UFC about to start. Like,
Hey, sorry, Mrs. Gravel. Your son just dropped the F bomb.
yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
Whoops. I'm an adult now. I'm a dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm an adult now.
Yeah,
Come to
you are.
Australia, but good luck beating Corey M. I don't know who Corey M is. Is that a bad thing? That's all right. Yes, Johnny rocks. Thank you. Yeah, we support Johnny. He's part of the world of Outlaws, and I'm glad he is. He's good at what he does. All right, so we'll move on to the next topic. This whole high limit world of Outlaw stuff. What's your opinion on what's happening? You were kind of around for other things happening. Now, right now, High Limit is just a midweek series. Do you think that it's a good thing? In my opinion, it makes lesser teams be able to race for more money. So I think it helps spread the wealth around a little bit.
It's good for teams like us.
Yeah.
Us. Macri, and I can't speak because I don't know what anybody else is doing. I don't know what anybody's doing. Hell, I can barely get my ass out of bed in the morning to go to my job. So I don't know what everybody else is doing, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's good for, people like us. I mean, I think our plan is if it does stay to the 10 to 12 race deal, we're for sure going to run the high limit deal for points. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it changes on the daily, just depending on how much beer we all drink at the time we're having the bullshit session and,
Yeah.
how many buildings get put up. But, I think, I use the word spread the wealth. I just think it's more opportunity.
Yeah.
So, anytime you can go race for good money is a good thing because you never know it. This thing's been on an upswing for years. Races are paying more. There's more of them, even all-star stuff. Because all-star stuff back in the day only used to pay like $5,000. And if they had like a 10,000 to win race, it was like, holy shit, look at this. We got to go here. Well, now that like the Tuscarora is 55 and, they got that Rudine race thing that's 26.
Yeah.
They got some
The
high
Dirt
paying.
Cup. Dirt Cup was 65,000.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good for teams like us. And
Yeah.
so, that we're not really in a situation, whether that be our budget or we're developing the engine program to, do that stuff, the Outlaws or, the All-Stars or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you kind of hear some rumblings of what's going on or what may happen, what may not happen. I don't know. I mean, I think anytime you got big races it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But you got to remember too, you got to look at what fifth pays because
Yep.
it's still 8 to 12 grand, depending on your situation, to drop the door.
Yeah.
So with more races comes more expense.
Yep.
So
Yep. That's what people get excited about. It pays 20,000 to win if it's a non-sanctioned race, or even say like the Tuscarora 50. Right? It pays that big money up top, but what's second pay, what's fifth pay, then what's 10th pay? A lot of those races, 10th doesn't even pay what an outlaw purse pays for 10th. So it's definitely important. If we could win every night, that would be nice, but that's just not realistic.
right.
So we got a video coming up, and you've probably watched it before, but Carter is going to play it for you, and then we're going to review the video after. So we'll probably talk a little bit, and then it's just going to blank us out, but stay tuned for that. Here it is. Put them in the blue stuff. What we had on the point. You hear me?
I hear you. I see you too.
Oh, there you go. Thank God. So, what do you remember from that time?
It was cold.
It was very cold.
That was probably that's in the top 3 of cool things.
Yeah.
For me, and I'm not being sentimental or blowing smoke up your ass because because I'm sitting here, but no, that was cool. So some no-name kid from Connecticut went rolling into Talladega because we weren't even going to go.
Yep.
Remember, we went at the last minute, and
Uncle Ray wasn't going to let us go.
Uncle Ray was probably shitty because we ran 15th the race before that. He was going to punish us by not letting us go. So I love you, Ray. But anyway, we rolled in there, and I remember we weren't that good all night, but we were good enough to get in the dash. We passed a couple cars, and we just kept working on the car all night. And some little kid from Connecticut won his first outlaw race. But the coolest thing was, since I like to shatter people's dreams, was Myers was on like a 11 race winning streak or something ridiculous. And if he won that night, he was going to set the record. Well,
Oh,
you
really?
blew his doors off. And
Yeah.
that was the coolest thing. You know, you winning was awesome, but shattering his dreams was even better.
Yeah, your best buddy Brian, was Brian working there at the time, or was he
Brian was
going?
working there, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's cool. Yeah. So I don't even think we won an all-star race that year, or maybe we won one all-star race. Um,
We won that one in Canada, Winnipeg.
when yeah, in
Yeah, we
Canada.
won in Winnipeg, which is the home of the professional wrestler Chris Jericho, by the way. But
Oh, really?
yeah,
Great
he's
wrestler.
from Winnipeg. There
The
you go.
walls of Jericho.
The walls of Jericho.
Yeah, so I think I won one, or I think I've won two all-star races at that moment. So to win an outlaw race, that was definitely cool. But definitely, that was the first time I ever experienced like the perfect handling race car. Like that happens maybe one in every 50 nights that you feel that good. And it was just Steve Kinzer went low, you went through the middle. Donnie Schatz is up high, you go low. Jason Myers is up high, you go low, and you pass them. And when your car is good, it's easy. When your car is not good, that's when you make
Yeah.
mistakes.
Then you try to do the same shit next week at the short track nationals in Little Rock at a track that looks just like that. And you look like Fido's ass and you're embarrassed your whole family and yourself to death. So
And Ray's mad at us again.
yeah, Ray's probably pissed. But I remember Scary Gary. You remember Scary Gary that worked on Steve's car, the old redheaded guy, been out there
Yep.
100 years. Cool cat.
Yep. Yep.
He said to me, he comes up to me a couple weeks later. He goes, you know, Steve was funny after that race. He goes, I don't know who that kid was, but he did a hell of a job kicking everybody's ass. So I'm like, dude, that's pretty cool coming from Steve Kinzer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But that, I remember that night. It was cold. That place is cool. I see we're going back there again. So I hope the place is awesome. You know, it's going to be a shithole. I'm sure they haven't even heard of
Updated
paint.
it. Yeah.
But
Yep.
I'm sure, you know, maybe they've cleaned the restrooms. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I don't remember.
hope
I knew the facility wasn't that nice, but the track was pretty cool. I know you could fly off the end in 3 and 4 and fly off into no man's land, but
yeah.
you know, there's definitely a cool night, definitely a surreal night. And of course, Jack and Bonnie were there, so they got their
Yeah.
photos.
Well, they got
taken.
their photo opportunity.
Yeah, they got their photo opportunity.
No, that was a cool night. A bunch of freaking ding dongs went out and won them an outlaw race. That was cool.
Well, I think it shows we had a good team, obviously, right? Like no matter everybody's vices, we had good people working on the stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, we had the right. I know we had one really good engine when we had that motor, and we ran well. That helped with confidence for the next year. Like I think we ran more outlaw races the following year, and we were in the hunt a lot more. And
Yeah.
you know,
When
it
we
all-
drop in, we were, you know, I don't know if we were a threat to win, but we were in the threat to run top 5, and we did most of the time.
yeah, that was really cool. You want to bring him in? All right, we got to do a little Levi sighting real quick.
Aw.
He's getting sleepy.
Need me to go grab my cat. Where's my cat?
Our little elf here. Oh, he's pissed. He is
Aw.
pissed. Mom's giving me a hungry Levi. Levi, that's not good. Oh no, this is what real dad life is like right here. It's not all glorious. It's not all glorious. I know we had requests from Leslie wanted to see Levi, but this isn't him at his best, that's for sure.
Aren't you supposed to like prop his head up or something, or is he past that where he can hold his own head up?
Yeah, he's strong. He's a strong little dude.
Yeah.
So he moves his head all around by himself.
Well, I've been trying to get up to speed on this baby shit because my oldest Whitney, she's doing like 2 months.
Right.
2 months. Yeah, 2
Yep.
months. So I gotta, you know, get tuned up on this.
Yeah, well, get ready for your lower back to hurt. Well, there's Levi, guys. He was not ready for stardom.
Sorry.
That's for sure.
No, he'll be all right.
But now he's hungry again.
Hey, he's gonna make a hell of a driver. He's already crying and bitching and pissing and moaning about shit.
Yep. The car's never good.
Yeah, this car sucks. You're lucky you have me driving this thing, carrying you guys.
Yep.
I'm saving your jobs.
Yep. Yeah, that's a struggle of a thing, you know, on I feel like you just gotta be honest. As a driver, mechanic, if you go out and screw up, you own up to it. If you screw up as a mechanic, hey, that was a shitty car. All right, let's move on. But
Right. No, I
so
agree, but it
yeah,
goes both ways. Sometimes, and I'm saying this from a mechanic crew chief point of view. It's okay if the driver comes in, jumps up and down like a star craving idiot, throws the steering wheel, throws the belts out, bowling balls as helmets, and
yeah,
all that. That's okay. But like when someone like me goes, "Hey, it might help yourself if you quit cheating the cushion by 4 fucking feet."
yeah, yep,
Oh, dude, he yelled at me. He's a dick. Oh my gosh.
yep.
It goes both ways there, bro.
It does. It does. And that's
Yeah.
something you learn. Like, obviously, I bounced around the last several years and kind of so have you. So you just kind of like learn how to deal with certain personalities and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I think as you move on, you kind of get more relaxed, I feel, and just you don't get that as worked up. It is what it is. Hey, man, I sucked for you
Yeah.
tonight. Or, hey,
Or
let's
hey,
get them
that
back.
was the biggest piece of shit I've ever given anybody in my life.
As a crew
Yeah.
chief if the car is good or not. Like,
Yeah.
and same as a
Well,
driver.
well, here's the other thing. How I was on my anti 360 soapbox a little bit. If there's any of the 10 people that are out there listening to this that ain't family, if they can take one piece of advice, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, grow thick skin
Yep.
and not learn how to take shit personal. We'll
Yep.
still drink beer with you after the races. But if
Yep.
you're trying to run the bottom somewhere and you're honking it in at Mach fucking 7 and you get
Yep.
to the center and you got to bend the thing and,
Yep.
and you're out there driving like a star craving idiot and we tell you, hey, we're not, it's not like we're not driving a school bus over your firstborn or your family or anything like that. We're just telling you, hey,
Yep.
help us help you help yourself.
Yep.
So
Yep.
young guys, grow thick skin. I'm telling
Yep.
you, because if you look at the guys in the top, I don't know Carson Macedo's upbringing at all. I know Carson a little bit, and I seen it scroll across the screen. Someone else that I think's got potential. I don't know yet. I think he can be good. Whether he can be great. Cole Macedo, by the way, he
Yep.
seems to have some flashes here, but just like Brad Sweet's kind of old school. I don't know his upbringing, but it seems like he's mentally tough. Donnie, you know, Danny Schatz. I said it. I did some long drawn out Facebook post a while back, and I said it in his documentary. At the time when you worked for him, you hated him, you
Yeah.
despised him. But he taught you how to have thick skin and to take an ass chewing. The ass chewing is never personal.
Yep.
So just young guys, young drivers, young crew guys, learn thick skin.
Yep. Yep.
So,
I
I know
agree.
that probably wasn't on your topic list, but since we kind of covered it, let's
Yeah.
cover it.
It's gonna snowball into
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So there is 372 people watching currently live. So there's more than my 5 family members watching.
Okay,
Just
I got my 3 girls watching, so
nice. So we got like
yeah.
realistically about 350 then.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And then the
somebody
one
asked
in little Tyler in Whitney's belly. He's probably listening to this shit too. He's like, what the hell am I getting myself into here?
nice. So a guy's got a question, which is good for you. It says, Tyler, what crew chiefs do you look up to the most?
They're both dead. Scott Gherkin and Kenny Woodruff.
No Carl Kinzer, huh?
I didn't know him on a personal level. So
Yep.
I respect him.
Yeah.
I think, he's a legend. I never knew him on a personal level. I knew Kenny Woodruff on a personal level. I
Yep.
knew Scott Gherkin on a personal level.
Yep. Yep.
So those are the two guys, like I think probably honestly Scott Gherkin from when I was out, at the like sitting here right now to answer that, did he give you a quick answer? It'd probably Scott Gherkin.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, because he got it. He was old school and he got it. Your
Yeah.
engines have to run. The only two things that matter on a sprint car is the thing between the radiator cap and the fuel cap.
Yep.
Everybody's a shock guru now, and we
Yep.
need our sideboards at this and our ladder at this and all that. If the guy's on the hammer and your freaking engine runs, dude, it just makes it 10 times freaking easier. And that's the old school mentality. You know,
Yep.
like I'm buddies with Scuba Steve. We talk a lot. I don't talk to really much anybody anymore because I don't trust anybody, because I
Yep.
think everybody's full of shit, because I know I'm not going to tell most people the truth. I'm not really going to lie to them, but I might
Yep.
not tell them the whole thing, especially if we're good, because hey, that's, you know, the more friends you have, the further back you are at the pay window.
Yep.
You know, like I'll talk to, you know, Scuba. I like hanging out with Cody. We never really bench race that much, but we'll tell stories. You know,
Yep.
I like hanging out with the new regime of crew chiefs and stuff
Yep.
like that. You know, I'm Adam that takes care of the 18 car. Him and I watch football every other Sunday
Yep.
together,
Yep.
but we never talk about racing. But I'd say my crew chief heroes is probably Scott Gherkin and Kenny Woodruff.
Yeah, obviously Scott was a good guy. I was young around him, but he was always nice. Kenny Woodruff, I never got the race around him or anything like that. But I know for you, there's a probably good connection because he worked with Donnie, and then he
Yeah.
left, right, and then you were after.
Well, we were both J&J guys. We always had J&J stuff, and just kind of
Yeah.
through that relationship. I mean, he would call just at the randomest times. And the conversation, I swear, I was telling the story to the kid that works with me today, and I'm not going to go into the story because I'm not going to talk shit about somebody I used to race with, and it didn't work out very good. But we had a 42, it was like a 45-second conversation. He did all the talking. And that's just the way it was. He would call up, ask a question, or tell me something to think about. Then he would just hang up. There was no talk to you later, bud, or see you later. It was click. I'm like, still there? And then I'd call back, and he's like, hey, bud. And I'm like, hey, what? Did you lose me? He goes, no, I just hung up. I was done talking. So that was how Kenny rolled. So
Yeah, that's
Kenny
cool.
made a lot of badass race car drivers.
He was like really badass with Dave Blaney, right?
Dave Blaney, Bobby Davis Jr., Donnie.
Yep. Yeah, Bobby Davis won a lot of races in a short time.
Mm-hmm.
And so did Dave. I mean,
Yeah.
like Dave, Bobby Davis, and and Mark Kinzer. I feel like those guys, like they had some amazing seasons in short times, but they didn't have the long careers as Steve or Donnie or Sammy or somebody like that.
Right.
They were
I think he
awesome.
went off and did some other stuff too. You know, you know, Jason Myers kind of did that too. He retired in his peak. I mean, that guy would probably have 5 or 6 more championships, but I guess it was time for him to peace out. So he pieced out.
Yeah, I think there was a lot going on there with all the stuff that happened, and it seemed like it all worked out for the better for everybody. And he seems to be happy doing what he's doing, and now he's kind of back involved in sprint car racing, and I know he's super successful. So I think it's
I
all
miss
good.
talking to him. I miss talking to Jason just on a personal level. I really always enjoyed him, and
Yep.
the guy's sharp. And I'm not talking race cars, yes, but just life and business. It's, most people, whether, if you pay attention, you can always pick good and bad up from anybody you talk to. And him, it was always like, just keep talking because my thick skull's absorbing some stuff you're saying. So,
Yeah, just seems like a smart guy, like engineer type guy, somebody that
yeah,
obviously has a high IQ. You can tell that, and just kind of successful probably no matter what he'll do.
right.
If anybody's got any questions to throw in here, I'll start looking at them and asking them. People ask, like, we go to some certain tracks. Have you ever been to Missouri State Speedway? I don't know what track that is. Is that Sedalia? Or I don't think so.
I think Missouri, is it Missouri Fair?
He said Missouri State Speedway.
I think if it's a state fair, it's Sedalia.
Brittany wants to know how fast you can chug a beer. I don't think
I
that
can't
fast.
chug a beer very fast, but I'm getting to where I'm about ready to bring the computer in the bathroom with me so I can piss because I got old man bladder going on here and my teeth are floating.
Yeah, that'll happen when you drink 3 beers. Like, you gotta pee.
3? You told me I was okay. So you asked me to be on the show at like 5:00. I had a conjugal visit scheduled for 6:30, so I had to reschedule that for 9. I'm like, hey, baby, you can come back later.
Yeah.
You have a shot at the title then, but then when we're done, you got to leave, which she'll only be here for probably 10 minutes because I'll be sweet and bullshit with her for a while. But yeah, I'm like, hell, I got like 8 beers here. I'm just going to start drinking because I'm a little bashful and shy. So I needed, kind of kill the anxiety a little bit.
Yep. Oh, this is a question. It says Mikey Kemper is leaving Craig Kinzer. Where is he going? Do you know?
I have no idea. I don't talk to Mikey, and it's not a like or dislike thing. He was never one that I talked to him at the races, but I think maybe he's doing a real job.
Yeah. I don't know either. He's got kids. He's sacrificed not seeing his kids for how long. But this person asked, what secret has Brent Marks found? I just think it's just a situation, right? He had like little to no success on the Outlaw Tour with not being able to qualify. And then he went to CJB and really struggled. And, it looks like Spencer Basin almost has more success than Brent Marks has had in the CJB car. I think Brent Marks likes to be in control of his team. And obviously, he's good at it. And they don't have the pressure of running for points. And they're home probably 90% of their schedule. The only time I would say they're not home is for a weekend going to Eldora or the week of Knoxville Nationals. Other than that, they're home. He has a kid now. He has a new girlfriend, so he's got a lot of shit going on as well. But I think that Brent Marks is probably just not a points racer, and he's really good at focusing on winning races, and it shows.
Well, here's the other thing that he does, and maybe I'm going to talk to him about this, but every time I've done the pick and choose schedule, the last year at Caneric, we did it. And then this last year, we did it kind of to an extent, but we kind of married Knoxville all of a sudden. But I find myself busier doing a pick and choose thing than I am doing an outlaw thing. And I think maybe something that they've done is like they'll just take weekends off. Yep. Hey, we're not racing this weekend. So I'm assuming, I don't know what Brent likes to do. Maybe he likes to golf. Maybe he's got his daughter and he's just doing stuff there. Heath, I don't know what I don't know what Heath and Fudd do for fun, but I think maybe part of it and something I think, that teams forget about because they're so hell-bent on if you're going to do this, you got to be at the shop 24/7. I think they give their guys time off. I mean, I haven't played a round of golf since before COVID.
Yep.
And trust me, I'm not that good. So like 9 holes, I'll lose all my balls by the 5th hole in, I'll be done.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think what he does, and I'm going to talk to him about it. Brent, call me if you're listening. Yeah. But I think they budget their time wisely, and that's probably why he's so successful. I mean, his engines run really well. They've had some time with them to get him fitted to how he likes to drive them, how he likes to feel, and I don't think they make it difficult. A lot of us make this way harder than what it needs to be, myself included. And I don't think, obviously, I love Heath, I love Fudd, and I don't know Brent Marks really on a personal level, but I don't think there's any rocket scientists over there.
No,
I just think they keep it simple, give it what it wants, their engines run. And Brent is a hell of a race car driver. It's still, again, it's the cap, the radiator cap and the fuel cap, the two things that matter. Yep. Brent is a badass race car driver, and they just have a package that fits him and it works. They're changing the tire, by the way.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you knew that. So here, about probably 2 months into the season, we're all going to be back at ground zero.
Oh, it's not going to be at the start of the year.
No, well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask Hoosier, they're going to get rid of all their H shit first. But if you ask, the higher echelon, we're going to implement this thing right away. It's like, well, what about the fucking 25 tires I got sitting at the shop that are useless? But that's a whole nother deal. That's my problem. I guess I ordered them too much when there's tire shortages or whatnot. But yeah, I don't think it's happening right away, but that'll put everybody back to zero.
So aren't they, did I hear they're going back to the wider tire, right? Is it no more the narrow tire?
I don't know much about the right rear because obviously I'm not at the show. I'm at the castle. I'm at my Swank Bed Bath and Way Beyond. And I didn't go to the show because I didn't want to. But the left rear, when you started racing, let's see, you and I raced on Goodyears, but I think the first year we raced together, we were on Hoosiers. The left rear had some squish to them. These tires we've been running now have been banded, so they don't have no squish, but they don't have no growth. They just stay the same all the time. They made a hybrid between the two to where they're going to squish a little bit, but then they're going to stand you up a little bit on exit. That's what the left rear is going to do. The right rear, I'm not really. I have a couple spies in Indy that are trying to figure this shit out for me, but they talked to Neil and he said one thing and Brian Carter said the other about when they're going to implement them. So them two guys actually probably need to talk and get this shit figured out. But but again, I mean, it's the thing is when you change the tires or you change a wing rule or something like that, it changes everything. It just doesn't change shock numbers or spring rates. It changes how your engines run or what you got to do to your engines. So rules cost money. Everybody's like, we need to do this and that and the other thing for rules to save costs. Rules cost money. But we just went on another tangent there that we probably wasn't in your headlines, but
it's all good.
To my world.
It's an open discussion. So somebody said thoughts on Macri running full-time Outlaws next year. I think that's fake news. I would be extremely surprised if he did that. Why should he? His dad owns the team. I don't think he needs to race sprint cars to put food on the table. I think he gets to race 90% of all the good races. He has a great team, and he gets to be home nearly every week. So I'd be very surprised if he did that.
Being home's overrated, but I don't know if he's ready yet. He needs to get off the farm a little more.
Yep. I agree. I feel like everybody thinks and knows they want to do it, but they got to go and try it out.
Like the tour of my house, I ran out of beer at the table.
Got to stay hydrated.
Yeah, I got to piss like a mofo too.
All right.
But it'll be all right. That's okay.
We'll let you go in like 5 minutes. How about that?
No, you're fine. You're fine. I gotta get tuned up. We're leaving for Florida in 6 weeks, so I don't want to stop every hour to piss. So I got
6 weeks. What's going on in Florida?
Well, we got to leave June 31st, but I count, like this week's shot because it's a PRI show, and then freaking Christmas. No one works Christmas
to New Year's, pretty
Christmas,
much.
And then for some reason, all these freaking unwashed masses think the Chili Bowl's something awesome. So there's another week. So I don't go off actual weeks when I'm leaving. I go off reality weeks on when, I can get shit done and shit happening.
Yeah, and get parts already ordered. Like this week, you can't get any parts from nobody. Oh, we're going at PRI. You can't order nothing. Like this week's off pretty much.
Yeah, I'm going Christmas. Riley and I think, are going Christmas shopping tomorrow. So
that's smart. We only got like 3 more people out of everybody we got to buy for. We only got like 3 more people, and we are done. So, let's see. We got a bunch of questions, but it's hard to get to them all. All right, yeah, this is the one topic I want to talk to. What do you think is the deal with the first 2 days of the King's Royal not being sanctioned by the World of Outlaws? So obviously, there's Dirt Vision and there's Flow, and Eldora, Tony Stewart, All Stars are Flow, and World of Outlaws is, Dirt Vision. So obviously, I think there's something going on there, and I'm guessing it's going to be a Flow racing event. Obviously, it's not going to be a World of Outlaw event, but I'm hearing
I don't think it's going to be anything. I think you're going to have 2 nights of racing. I think one of them is going to be a regular all-star show, or it's going to be high limits. I was thinking when I seen that, it's like, oh, those 2 days are high limit races.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any. I think this is me talking. I don't know nothing. I think it's not outlaw races, so it wasn't on the outlaw schedule.
Yeah, I think it's going to be non-sanctioned, in my opinion, and just be probably a Flow racing night in America, or like they did that Governor's Reign during COVID at Eldora, probably something to that. But I'm told that it's going to be a big splash. How much is it going to pay to win? I don't know, but I hear it's going to be an extremely big event. So I'm very curious to see that. And I don't know when they're going to announce that, but maybe Saturday night at PRI show would be nice.
Well, shit, if it's going to be that big, I might actually bring a spare car to the King's Royal this year.
That would be smart.
Yeah. Well, there's, on a side note, I caught a lot of shit from a bunch of freaking hacks that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground on the internet. Well, we didn't bring a spare car. Well, we'd crashed 3 races up till then. We just about didn't go, but we're like, screw it, let's just go. And if we crash, we'll just go run Knoxville. So it wasn't like no one was being lazy. We had stuff. but we'd gone through a little bit of a crashing spree up until then. So in trying to do what we're trying to pull off, and you get it, everybody that gets it, but
Yeah.
95% of everybody out there don't get it.
Yep.
So, it wasn't a laziness thing. It wasn't none of that. It's just we were out of shit, and we didn't have as much shit as what we probably should have, or at the time, when you crash, you can run out of inventory pretty quick.
Yep.
So it just was what it was. We crashed, and that was the plan. If something bad, catastrophic happened, we were going to go back to Knoxville, and it worked. I mean, obviously, we didn't, race the King's Royal, but we went back to Knoxville and we won. So, from a winning standpoint, it worked out. And
you probably had a car sitting there ready to go, and
I put a 410 in the 360 car.
Yeah. Yep.
So
we have the most people watching currently than we've had all night. We're up to 421 people watching now, which is good.
Yeah. Any of them getting a restraining order?
No.
Okay.
I hope not. Ascent Media says, "How has social media helped your racing career?" So Tyler, I want to hear the perspective.
Yours or mine?
Mine.
Yeah, yours. Okay.
I want it from the mechanic standpoint, because I feel like a lot of mechanics are anti-social media, are old school, and they don't like the lights on them. So I'll give that question to you, and then I'll answer.
What was the question? How's it helped your racing career?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yep.
I don't, it's the way of the world now. I mean, you can publicize your sponsors and things like that, but us mechanic guys have so much shit going on. During the race season, the only time I get to check my Facebook or my Instagram, I got Snapchat now. I don't know how it works, but I got it, is when I'm taking a shit usually, or sitting at the bar at 10 o'clock at night. I might get on there and everybody's pissing and moaning about something. But I think social media is a great tool. I've said this on Jeremy's podcast before, it's a great tool if used properly, but sometimes I think that's what the problem is with the world, maybe even the racing community, because everybody has an opinion, and I get everybody has a right to opinion, but a lot of people don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yep.
So they should probably shut up, because most of us that read it, that are actually in the know, are like, dude, this guy don't even, you almost want to engage with him, just because it's like, dude, this guy's this guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like, probably not.
Yeah.
So,
just,
I think it's a good tool.
Yeah. Everybody has their own opinion, and it is what it is.
You definitely can't screw around on your old lady anymore too much with freaking.
Yeah. Everybody knows everything.
Everybody knows everything.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it matters with me, because I'm like sprint car racing's most eligible bachelor ladies.
It's probably all guys on here, so I don't know how many girls you're
they can tell their wives, and they can message me.
Nice. Let's see. Text from Dylan. Let's see. Hold on 1 second.
Is this your son? Is this your brother-in-law, Dylan?
I don't know.
Oh,
okay. The new Hoosier tire is at PRI, right rear.
Right, but neither one of us are at PRI, so we don't know what the hell it is.
It's got 4 dimples in the squares now.
So does my ass. It's got hail damage too.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not so much anymore, since I'm not such a fat ass.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got 5 rows of blocks. That's how much is on the narrower tire, right?
Yeah, they didn't change. I think they changed the construction. I still think it's narrow.
Yeah, it's still the narrow tire. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. That's obviously.
I don't think the right rear was the fucking problem anyway. It was the left rear. I'm telling here's what I think. Here's how they could have fixed this without building another tire. Just go to the old RD and D12 stuff, the left rears, and I know no one's going to know what we're talking about but you.
Yep.
And just go to the medium right rear, because it's the old construction. Guys would have that warm and fuzzy feeling like they don't have anymore.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, oh, I don't know. Actually, it's got 3 rows of big squares and 4 rows of the half blocks, and then it's got the same edges. So I don't know. It might be wider. I'm not
Has
sure.
it got? Has it got groove? Is the tread in it so where I can fire the tire guy so he doesn't have so I don't have to groove it?
All right. Let's. Yeah, this is at the PRI show. This is the only thing I got. You guys aren't. It's not gonna be high enough quality.
Can you
But
send that to? Oh, yeah, send that to me when we're done talking.
yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks. I don't know.
Yeah,
What's it
it's
say?
not.
It'll say what the width is on it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a high quality of a photo here. It's a spy photo. The other photo is a left rear, Joe. Yep.
Holy shit! I said, hey, send me some pictures of that. You ought to see all the pictures I'm getting.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
We got you covered. Yep. Jeremy Elliott had to text me before the thing even started. He said, "Hey, what did you guys get for second and points?" So Jeremy Elliott, if you're a nice guy and you're watching my stuff because I watch all yours, it was 100,000 for second points. So
That bum's probably found someone to buy him dinner at the frickin' St.
yep.
Elmo's or he's probably down at Scarlet Harris getting a lap dance from some trailer park scallywag.
I probably.
This is getting out of hand, David.
Yeah, it is. Well, you're on your, fourth beer, so you're probably
No,
feeling all right.
I'm on my 8th beer. This is my last one.
Jeez.
And it wouldn't matter if I was on 8 beers or no beers. I'm naturally aspirated. So
Yeah, that's
I
for
don't
sure.
get much social interaction anymore, but my cat, and
Yeah,
I kicked her a little while ago, so she's pissed at me. So
that's your only friend over there.
I got 2 of them. I got the OG, she's 17, and then I got the other one I inherited from Whitney. And
17, that's awesome.
yeah, she's still an asshole.
Yeah. Anybody got any more questions for us here? We'll probably wrap it up shortly, but if anybody's got any great questions, social media is like an open-ended wrench that rounds off all the nuts. Yeah,
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's a good one, Uncle Muir. Is he on Impractical Jokers? Muir, right? Isn't that his name? Muir. Hoosier can't keep up with quality from day to day. Tom, I'm told that they can't have employees work there. That's hard. They don't have enough workforce, so they're always chasing their tail, I believe, trying to keep up with inventory, and that's when mistakes are made.
If they just went to 2 tire, one right rear and one left rear.
Yeah.
That would fix
well, they
that.
screwed up over the years of having a King of the West tire and having a Race Saver and having this tire and an HTW, and there's probably 25 different right rears for sprint cars.
Right.
They don't need that. All right. What are my other topics? We talked about the Eldora deal. We talked about the scheduling. We talked about the budget, and we talked about our World of Outlaw win together. And I think that's about it. Are you happy to be going to PA more? I mean, if you win at PA, everybody's happy going to PA, but that's a tough place. Williams Grove's tough. And why do you think Port Royal is the way it is? Why do you think it is so hard to win at Port Royal?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe, I think Port Royal might be the new Williams Grove.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where the local guys up there shine more so there than at Williams Grove, maybe a little bit. And, I think sometimes the Outlaw deal and even us, we won like 15, 16 races last year, but they weren't on the, up, they weren't an Outlaw all-star level, but sometimes you got stuff to lean on there.
Yeah.
It could be slick, but you might have a little bit of roughage on the bottom and a Spike Fast Racing 999. You're selling yourself way cheap there, but I'm a lover, not a fighter, brother. But
that's how much he paid to ask the question. The first guy to pay for
really?
the question.
Really? So do I get half of that? Do I get my 10%, David?
Yes, you get your 10% if you fight somebody.
Who can I pick? Who I get to fight?
yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the thing.
So anyway, it's just it's a half mile. It's a half mile. It's fast, but it's a 20-second fast joint. And I
Yeah,
think that's somewhere where the local guys have an advantage. And I think it's turned into a unicorn to where maybe if you have your baseline set up or kind of what you start with or do it different, 90% of the places that might be in the 10% now to where you got to think outside the box.
I just think it gets so damn slick there, and there's like no free traction to grab other than banging off the wall.
Yeah.
And Brett Marks and Macri do that the best there. And then um, when it's slick and slow and the bottom works, Lance Deweese wins. But most of the time, Macri does because I don't know how he could shortcut the corner, hit the wall in the center, and then turn it off the wall and banking and haul ass down the straightaway. I don't know how his car does that, and maybe it's just him. I got no idea, but he's got something that nobody else could do there.
They definitely their package. I know Joe Mooney's the crew chief there now, and I'm pumped for him. I hope he does. I hope he really does well there. But
He's
if
a
I
good
was
kid.
him, yeah, he's good shit. But whatever he's got going, whatever Macri's got going on, I would do that. But the other thing too, Anthony's a hammerhead, but he's got Charlie Garrett pulling himself around there too. So he's probably got mile per hour on everybody to where, as well as I do because you got Morrison. Sometimes you don't have to make the prettiest lap, and they save your ass.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
but no, I think Anthony's just really, really good there, and that whatever they got figured out, probably from back when Shuttlesworth worked on the thing to now, they're just but you have guys that have their track that it doesn't matter if you have reverse split in it, positive split, even up bars. Carreras from 1980s or factory Canes or Penske's, or you could have Vortexes or, elite wings or whatever. Them guys are just good there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't think, I think crew chiefs get a lot of blame and stuff, and rightly so, because, we're not perfect, but, I don't think drivers at times get enough blame. No, I don't want to use the word blame, but I don't think sometimes they get enough credit, because I know sometimes a lot of guys think that there's magic to this. Well, maybe Anthony Macri's just good there. He's great there.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. They're lucky we don't have the Knoxville Nationals at Port Royal.
Yeah.
He kick everybody's ass.
Yep. Hands down. Yeah, I haven't figured that out as a driver. I could tell you from what I've learned from racing for a lot of teams, you definitely have to have a good team to be successful. But I feel like what a good driver could do is your bad nights are eighth or ninth, where maybe other guys, their bad nights are 15th or 17th. When you're Donnie Schatz and you finish in the top 10 every night, you know what I mean? Which this year he didn't, but say Brad Sweet, or I feel like lately I've been able to finish in the top 10 a lot, but I feel like you maximize your night, no matter if your car's shit, bad, good, you're in the work area, something happens, you still got to battle and claw and try to run ninth or 10th. I feel like that's where on an average finish basis, where that shows as a driver, in my opinion.
If you're a World of Outlaw, an established World of Outlaw, not even a World of Outlaw team, but like a professional race team, that you got a good nucleus, a good engine program, car owners will spend money and all that. When you go to an Outlaw show, a seventh and eighth should be a bad night, or just it's like we kind of weren't that good. Now I know there's circumstances to where if you start 16th because of circumstances and run it up to 7th, it's like, dude, we were really good. Because I know you've had nights like that too. You've had good 8s, good 7s, but when you suck and you don't feel like you do anything right, if you can pull an 8th, 7th, 8th, or 9th out of your ass, it's like, okay, we salvage that. Let's learn from it and go on.
Yeah, and that happens plenty when you race 75 times at least. I mean, that definitely happens plenty of times. We were kind of like that in the West Coast. We went backwards to 17th, 18th in the first 8-10 laps, and the car comes around and we end up running 7th or 8th. Race your absolute ass off to get there, but it's just what you got to do. So we got some other good questions here. One says, thoughts on Davey Brown with the Kreitz team. I'll just throw a quote out here or a couple sentences. How that guy could even see a race car going around the racetrack and know what the hell is going on out there is one of the most impressive things out there. And Lance Deweese told me he comes in off the track and Lance doesn't even give him feedback. Davey already knows what he wants to do from seeing the car. Now, if Davey is just a creature of habit and does the same thing every time, I don't know. But for him to know what's going on at Williams Grove and Port Royal, two of some of the biggest tracks, like as a crew chief, you don't know what the hell's going on in one of the corners at Williams Grove because you can't see it. It's just not even possible. So how that guy has had some dominant cars in the last 5 years, like he's had, is just I don't know how it's even possible.
I think it's freaking fantastic because he's probably the last of a dying breed.
For sure.
And I don't mean that, disrespectfully, the dying breed. It's a pun, but or figure of speech, but he's one of the last of the old school guys.
Yeah, I say Ricky Warner is like obviously a lot younger than him, but after him, I feel like it falls off a big cliff. You know what I mean? I feel like, yeah, you're older than Cody, but you're still considered younger. But like that Scott Gherkin era, right, of people, like I would say obviously Davey is older than that, but
Right.
I say Ricky is the last one, and he's pretty much at the end of his career now. So after that, it's like all the legends or the people that were the people in the sport are just completely gone. It's pretty crazy.
Right. No, I agree. It's definitely a changing of the guard.
K. Cole, thank you for the paid question. David, thank you for the time. Hope to continue full time. Tyler, love the insight and honesty. Despite backstage drama going on, still love sprint car racing. We all love
Cole, thanks for my 50 cents.
I would say more money involved in sprint car racing, more problems, right? There's a rap song named after that.
More money, more problems.
Yeah, I say the streaming deals have brought new avenues to make money and bigger purses than we've ever had. And it just the world we live in today.
Well, I think where, it created a lot of the controversy or drama is when we race without people. Which I know from a racer standpoint, that was good because we got to race and, do all that. And it was cool. It was actually, I'll catch shit for saying this, but actually racing without fans was actually pretty cool. And not, I love the fans and we need the fans, but you ever hear the expression like, one or two people can ruin it for everybody? You've heard that growing up, haven't you?
Yep.
Some people up there indulge too much in the beverages and they walk in, come into your pit and walk into your trailer and act like they own the deal and all that. But I think getting back to the original statement, I think there's a little drama going on now with, money and all that stuff. And I think that, a lot of that was caused by racing without fans. So we see how much the streaming services make.
Yep, for sure.
And I'm walking around because I got a Charlie horse, so just bear with me here.
That's fine. Thank you for the paid question. Somebody asked, do you use qualifying wings? I would say at big tracks, big races, people do use qualifying wings. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But I think it's something that's fairly popular nowadays.
The qualifying wing thing?
Yeah.
We don't. I think there's a couple guys that do.
Yeah.
That run qualifying wings, but
yeah,
I've seen guys break track records without them, and then I see some guys that had them on when the track record was broken. That is third row of the heat race. So
yeah,
I think the qualifying wings probably matter when the air's real shitty, like real humid and all that. But I think that. When the air is good, again, it goes back to my statement, the radiator cap and the fuel cap, the two things between there is what matters.
Yeah. If you got a good engine, I don't think the thickness of your belly or a change in the sideboard an inch is going to make you qualify quick time or 30th.
No.
All right. Congratulations on getting second this year on a crew chief on our team, and we got second in the track points and first for the traveling division. Hilarious. Yeah, maybe he was. Seal broken. These guys.
Dude, I piss so bad. I'm the first one on the David Gravel podcast to go take a piss live.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely something to be talked about. That's for sure. Something you don't see often, but there was no skin shown, so we're good.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Not
So
everybody gets to see how outdated my house is. So if anybody out there is like wants to own a construction company or wants to, volunteer, some labor, I could use some hardwood floors and,
yep.
Things like that.
What was it? Home Extreme Makeover, whatever they used to have on TV.
Yeah, basically, I need 5 gallons of gas and a match. That'll make this place over really good.
Yeah, for sure.
This place will look good with a fresh coat of fire.
Yeah, no doubt. Somebody asked, did Ricky quit because of the Ford engine? No, I mean that's none of my business, but he wanted a new start and that's what he got. Does World of Outlaws talk with teams and drivers at like the end of the season about improvements they like? That's something they do twice a year, but that is a broken concept that we have. And when you have 16 teams and owners and drivers, there's a lot of opinions, and not much gets accomplished. So I feel like communication is key between the teams and the World of Outlaws, and I think that needs to be better. And I think that's why there's a lot of rumblings of what everybody's hearing currently.
You covered it.
Spike Fast Racing, he's got another one. He says, since Tyler Swank got lean and mean, has Brian Carter implemented performance-enhancing testing due to Tyler? Spike, I like your creativity. I don't know what Spike's a barbershop and shave or something. If you got a barbershop, that's cool. If you're paying for these questions, why don't you become a sponsor to the channel? We'll have your logo up every single video. That might be very good for you. Is Tyler on performance enhancing drugs? He's gonna be like the Liver King. Do you know who the Liver King is?
Is that guy that's buff but never showers?
He's the real buff dude, and he's like lives like he's a caveman, and he eats raw organs from animals like liver and all that stuff. And he said he got this way because of the stuff he ate. Well, like last week, somebody leaked some emails of all the steroids he takes and supplements, and then he had this big apology video. So he got caught that he got busted for drugs. So Tyler Swank, are you on steroids?
No.
He just had a lot of bad habits.
I just got skinny-ish.
Yeah. Well, I think being a World of Outlaw mechanic or just a sprint car mechanic, probably one of the worst things you could do for your health, with all due respect.
Yeah. Well, when you eat at the Shell station and, we just basically eat to fill the gap, to fill the hole. You get hungry, you do what's convenient. And,
whatever's available. If it's that pre-made turkey sandwich at Love's, that's what you're doing because the restaurants are closed. If it's a freaking Rolly hot dog, that's all it is.
Yeah. The old Rolly dog. At the 7-Eleven. We have a Rolly dog machine.
Yep. So, that's the food, obviously the drinking, and then the sleep schedules, right? During the week, we could have a normal sleep schedule. And then when we race, there could be a 3 a.m., there could be a 6 a.m. It's a terrible lifestyle for your health, and it's hard to be regimented. And it's hard to really keep anything decent in the fridge when you're on the road all the time. Now, if you're home every week, that's different. But, man, right. It's tough. It's tough to stay lean. And then when you have a little bit of downtime, you don't really want to go work out in the middle of the season. I know I don't. I know maybe you have a little bit here lately, but to me, when we're racing and as busy as we are, I just kind of want the rest. And I don't even really want to think about working out.
Yeah. Well, the deal I was on, or that I'm still doing it, is I wasn't supposed to work out because I'm at a huge calorie deficit. And basically, if I work out, it tricks my body into, it shuts it down, because I'm from burning fat because I'm in such a huge calorie deficit. So, I have before, like I used to, when I was, okay, so I'm about 245. I got down to 223. This was like post nationals. I was 335 when I started this, and I was a gym rat at 335, but I could not outwork a shitty diet. Because just looking back on it with what I'm doing now, this program I'm on, dude, it was hostess. Like, okay, so I would get up at 4:30 in the morning, go to the gym, bust my ass, come home. And then I still had the girls still lived with me and their mom and all that. I would have probably 2 pieces of wheat toast, but I'd slather on the freaking peanut butter and the grape jelly and all that, inhale that, take a shower, go to wherever I was working. That was when I would do the same thing like when I was in Brownsburg. But let's just say I'll use the Caneric deal for an example. But then I would go, or the 18, let's just use the 18 deal when I was at KCP, and even the first year I was with the 8 car.
Yep.
Then I would go to Casey's to get a freaking, a monster. And I wasn't getting the sugar-free stuff. I was getting the high octane shit. But then Casey's has these things called donuts that are outstanding. Blows Krispy Kreme out of the water. You do freaking chocolate milk, testings or, whatever you call it.
Yep.
I need to do donuts because I love donuts.
Yep.
Anyway, I would get like 2 donuts, chocolate with sprinkles, go to the shop, and then we would always have shit there to munch on. So I would just munch every day. But, when I started this program, I quit the gym because that was part of the deal. And I just ate right. I fixed the diet, and here I am. I mean,
I feel like soda too.
Ladies off with a stick. Yeah, no sugar, no bread. My biggest thing is no sugar, no bread. And I know that sounds boring, but if you do the research, you can eat a lot of shit.
Yeah.
That's actually like Philly. I love Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. I just get it without bread. And my new favorite thing is steamed broccoli. So, I still have this hankering for chocolate chip cookies, and I want pancakes and all that. But
you still cave in once in a while and have that stuff then?
I had surgery the 3rd week of October, a couple of weeks before Charlotte, and I had to get off the program. I'm not going to go into a bunch of details, but anyway, I had to get off the program till I got better. And I noticed that all of a sudden the cravings come back because my new favorite thing was Honey Nut Cheerios because it was easy on my system, and I had work on my like digestive deal.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's it's anyway. Long story short, I fixed the diet.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I crave everything. I mean, chocolate chip cookies, and it's a lifestyle too, because how many fat fucks do you know that are 70, 80 years old? I mean, let's be truthful.
Yeah.
How many obese, and I got a grandkid on the way. So I want to be there for him.
Yep.
So, and there's still stuff I want to accomplish. I've never, when I played football, I was 260, 270, but it was different. I was in the weight room, and I was built different. But then I maintained the diet of that after I got done playing football. But, you get older, and it's hard to, I didn't change my lifestyle after my football deal. So all of a sudden you hit 300, and it's like, okay, I'll do something. And then you hit 310. It's like, I need to do something. Then all of a sudden when 3X shirts are tied on you, it's like, okay, it's probably time.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a smart move. Proud of you for losing that weight. That's for sure.
Thanks.
So we got a lot of questions in here, but Trey Jacobs asked a question, Cody's brother, and we probably can't answer this truthfully because there's a lot of stuff we probably can't say.
You're just locked up.
All right. Trey Jacobs is asking a question here, and we probably can't answer it truthfully. So make sure you censor your answers here. All right. It says, how about some good old stories from the days of you guys working out of Jack's shop? Feels like forever ago. So obviously we raced out of Jack's shop for like 2 seasons pretty much. Sheldon was just kind of starting out. Ripper was working with us, and I think Ripper left us and maybe worked for Sheldon, and it was just kind of me, you, and maybe we had Richard or Hot Rod at some point or something.
We never had Hot Rod. We had Richard.
We had Richard at one point.
Richard.
Yeah. Buddy. Hopefully Richard's watching and he got a shout out here and it made his day.
Yeah. Buddy. What's up, Richard?
Buddy. Yeah. I haven't talked to him in a while. But anyways, So Sheldon was single back in the day, and we had the go-kart track. We had lots of parties, a lot of bonfires with oil spilled on them. I slept on the couch. Tyler and Ripper got the bedrooms. We had all sorts of crazy stuff going on. So I'm not going to throw out exact details, but we had stuff that you can't make up. Do you remember it was the old 59 quad? There was a little Chinese quad, and we taped the throttle wide open. We drove it off the edge of the track and ended up landing into the riverbank. I have the powered up my old phone, and I still have the video on there. It was me, Ripper, and Sheldon did it, and it was pretty hilarious at the time.
Remember when you guys built that racetrack in the backyard and Ripper went flying off one of the turns and he ended up in the evergreen trees? I thought he was dead.
Yep. He had to run the top. He had to be just like Jack.
Yeah.
So we got another paid question. Lucas Randall, why did your family have to buy your national suit from Bobby when it was yours? P.S. It was cool seeing you at the meet and greet at their shop. I will not answer that question. We're gonna move on from that. But I got the sponsorship from Exalta, and I wanted the suit, but the team owned it, and we had to make something happen to make it happen. I'm happy that I have the suit, and we will put it to rest, Lucas. So appreciate for the paid question, but that is an extremely touchy subject that I do not want to get involved in. Hopefully you respect that. Also, Ray Capella says, "Where's my moped?" So do you remember the moped?
I do, now that he brought it up. Where is that moped?
So it was the black and gray, had DDR stickers on it, and it ended up at Sheldon's for some reason, and it never came back because they took it on the trails, and like nobody had a dirt bike, or somebody didn't have a dirt bike, so they went in the woods with this thing. And I don't know if Sheldon texted a picture to Ray or Sheldon texted a picture to me, but it has no body panels on it. It's literally just a skeleton with a seat and a headlight on it. And that was like a classy, like like a European. It was looking like a Vespa. I think a Yamaha made it, but it looked like some European, like people freaking use this.
Well, it was something that didn't belong at the sprint car races.
Yes, it did not deserve to be in dirt, that's for sure. But Ray, by accident, bought 4 of them, and somebody only used 1 of them, so we stole 1 of them for the team. But Alyssa's moped is actually, it still runs, but it does not look like how it started its life. That's for sure. Trey Jacobs, yes, this is another one. Before chocolate milk, it was gas station vodka and cranberry juice, fueling many Worcester nights. That was the damn drive. If nobody's been to Ohio, there's such thing as a drive-through or a drive-in liquor store, and it's really only like a juice bar type thing where you don't really get vodka. It's like 3%. It's not even like 9 or 10%. So it's like this crappy vodka in these soft plastic containers. It's not even in glass, and that's where I first probably had like my legit drinks is probably at the Hot and Shields.
You remember that little gas station that was within walking distance? You walked, okay, so you had Jack's shop, and then you had the school. You walked through the yard, and there was that gas station. That's a big Amish area down there. Remember when the Amish gals would go in the restrooms dressed as Amish, and they'd come out looking like supermodels because they were going to go out on the town? Do you remember that?
Really? I missed that.
That's right. You were like 15 years old, but yeah, when I would be in there doing whatever, all these freaking Amish girls, like I'm going to say like at the end of their high school, maybe I don't know how old they were because whatever, but they were like older, like old enough to go party. Obviously they would go in there in their bonnets and all their Amish garb, and they would come out. It's like, holy shit, what the hell just happened? It's like Superman walking into the phone booth. He goes in there and he comes out as Superman.
Like, how do they get sun if they're always covered up too, because if you're super pale, you don't look good being super pale either.
I don't know. There's something shady going on in that Amish community, and I need to find out what's going on.
Well, there's a mafia, and they made a TV show on it, so be careful.
Yeah, okay, I'll be careful.
Are you a fan of the first 2 race World of Outlaw weekends being in Florida? Hell yes, I am. I live in Florida. This is a dream. I could go to Volusia, race 5 days in a row, drive home, be home for 3 weeks, go back to Volusia, and that's really when my season starts. So I'm extremely happy with that. I think it's the smartest decision with the schedule because we can't race nowhere else that's not freezing cold or pouring rain or snowing. Like in my opinion, there's a track called Alltech that's actually a pretty cool track that pays big money, big block modified and world or late model races. I think we need to go to somewhere like there. It's a shame, Bubba. The track isn't very good. It's really sandy, and then East Bay is really, really run down, and that's not a very good track anymore. But it's a shame we don't have 3 or 4 or 5 tracks to go to in Florida because I think the start of our season should start there for a few weeks.
I don't understand why we can't be there for a month.
Yeah.
But I was
Yeah.
talking about that with Scuba the other day because he rattled off 2 or 3 places I never even heard of. And then I did we could always go to East Bay. They had 10,000 people the last time they were there.
Yep.
Get the track right there. The racing's awesome. It's
Yeah.
it's unsafe ish.
Yeah. Look up Alltech Speedway. They had a Race XR race there last week or 2 weeks ago. That's where Davenport won a 40,000 win race that got him to 2 million. But it's actually like it's like 3/8, I think. It's a pretty good sized track, pretty wide and slick.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, check it out. Tyler, have you ever tried to drive the race car? Have you driven a sprint car?
No, I have not. But funny story. When I worked for Donnie back on the family deal, we were both the same size. So I always used to joke with him that, I'm the guy starting your car in the parking lot because I could fit in the seat. Well, a couple of years later, he got on the regimen and started taking care of himself. He went one way and I went the other. So that's really the closest I ever come to driving anything. I always played football and wrestled. So,
Yeah.
I was always kind of in the gearhead side of it. My dad drag raced and all that. So, no, I never driven. I never had any ambition to drive. So,
Yeah. Some people it's not for, some
no,
people
I
have
didn't.
fear, some people like watching, you know what I mean? And just one of those things. They said Alltech is actually a half mile. But yeah, it looks like a good track. Some guy asked, did Houston's team make a profit last year? I could guarantee you that no sprint car team made a profit last year. When we were talking about the numbers earlier in the show with the dirt track or numbers, I think you're spending $1 million for a top tier team. So I'm saying KKR, TSR, the 2 team,
17.
17. The 41, I think, does now. When I was there, they definitely cut corners and definitely didn't spend extra money, but now I think they have it so they could spend more. So I would say the top 5 or top 6 teams, even CJB Motorsports, they spend about just as much money as anybody, I would say. Roth Motorsports, the same way. I would say the only team that doesn't would be Shark Racing. They definitely are frugal and definitely rely on product deals to build things like engines for cheap and stuff like that. Any idea of the rumors of a playoff style championship format? I
hope not.
So. I hope not. I don't think so. Just because the Lucas Oil Series did, that'd probably be a reason why the World of Outlaws does not do it because the Lucas Oil Series did it. So I'm going to say a big fat no. Don't believe all the things you hear. What are your thoughts on I-34 Raceway in Burlington? I think that track could be awesome or it could be crappy. So it's just kind of like any dirt track with a surface. It depends on weather and how they prep it. But I think if they get the track right, it's actually a lot of fun. I like the shape. I like turns 3 and 4. I think it's a lot of fun.
It's close to home.
It's close to home for Tyler.
Home. Yeah.
In your opinion, what's the overall best track? I mean, are
they talking about race wise or facility wise?
It just says overall best track.
Well, for you, it's probably either Knoxville or Williams Grove because those are kind of your ATM machines.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think to me, it's Knoxville and Eldora. And I think that there's other tracks that are trying really hard. Like it's a shame, Jackson's a beautiful facility, The dirt is hard to work with, and Houston's a great facility, and I think we're building a big event there. So 250,000 to win sprint car race, that's a big deal. So, but in my opinion, still Knoxville and Eldora are the top. I know Todd is trying to work his places towards that, but at the end of the day, there's only one Daytona, right? There's only one Daytona 500. That's the history, and that's just the way it is. So, I think that everybody would agree. Everybody wants to be like Knoxville. Everybody wants to be like Eldora, and that's what you're striving to be.
Next question.
Excited to go to BAPS. I haven't been to BAPS since running a micro race there, I believe. So yeah, I'm excited to go there. It looks like it races pretty good. Looking forward to it. How do you think attendance would or could improve with races within an hour of NASCAR IndyCar events? Example, Volusia with Daytona weekend. So the Outlaws have done that for years. Every time we raced at Las Vegas, it was because NASCAR was in town. When we were at Volusia, yes, Daytona. Also, Lakeside at the end of the year, it was always during the NASCAR weekend. Till this year or the year before, NASCAR changed their schedule and is not on the NASCAR weekend, and we still had packed grandstands. So I think it doesn't really matter that much, in my opinion. What do you think?
Remember when they went back to Volusia a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Just kind of like, hey, we're going back to Volusia. It was bike week and the place was packed.
Packed.
I think maybe Vegas you need it because it's
Yep.
kind of out in the desert, but I don't think, to be honest with you, sprint car racing don't need NASCAR or Indy cars to fluff their crowds.
Yep. Yep.
So,
for sure.
in my opinion, if you're in a population, if you're in an area where the population's high, I think,
Yep.
Vegas maybe, Vegas probably, but anywhere else, I don't think you need NASCAR because the thing was back in the day was we just need to coattail off of NASCAR. I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah.
The only thing cool about it is when you're younger, you'd have the Jimmy Johnsons and the Dale Juniors coming to the races. When you're a kid, you're like, oh man, look at that guy. That guy's a legend. Well, now when they put their pants on the same way you and I do. So
Yeah.
it's not,
Yep.
Take me to have a bunch of pro wrestlers show up and I'll get starstruck.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think that the World of Outlaws has a pretty good name. We got 5 or 6 or 8 really good drivers that I think have a following, and I think we'll have good crowds no matter where we go. With COVID and streaming, I think streaming has made our sport grow through COVID. Things have grown as well. Jennifer Marshall, thank you for the $20. Not sure what the sticker means that you sent, but maybe you could give me context, or maybe you don't want to, but thank you for that. And Waldo Motorsports says, Pepe's or Sally's. Have you been to Connecticut and ate all the good pizza or no?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Dude, you took me to a couple pizza places that had good pizza, and I don't know if they're Pepe's, Sally's, or Pizza Hut. So,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
So Pepe's and Sally's are some of the famous ones there, and Sally's is definitely better in my opinion. But they just opened a Pepe's in Florida, so now I get Connecticut pizza in Florida, which is cool. Thank you for the not fake news on cost to run in the top 5. Love this. You're welcome, Jennifer. I think that I talked to my owner. I talked to Rico. He told me kind of what he spends. And we know what engines cost nowadays. That's such a huge thing. And yeah, that's just the way it is. It's expensive, and inflation is real.
It's a rich man's sport. It always has been. And
Yeah.
it's always going to be. It's just, and if we're going to be
At this level,
at this level, yeah, we're talking outlaw level, and it's just this. I don't hope I don't get in trouble for saying this. It's a fucking tax write off.
Yeah,
most people that own these cars, if they're not the driver themselves, have very successful businesses, and being smart about it, they run everything through the business. So it's a little bit of a tax write-off that they enjoy it. So instead of maybe having a yacht, they have a feather light and a bunch of race cars and a bunch of ding dongs to keep them entertained.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate the people that have money to do it, choose to put it into racing. Because if it wasn't for Richard Marshall, Todd Quiring, Casey Kane, Tony Stewart. We don't have these upper echelon teams. Even Chad Clemens, he's fielded a car for how long now?
Right.
If we don't have these people that hire people to do being a mechanic or a driver on a sprint car team, then we don't have the World of Outlaws. Then it's just a weekend warrior type thing. These people have the money and the corporate sponsors, NOS and CarQuest and Napa and all these corporate deals. Like, if it wasn't for them, we don't have these big money events. We don't have these awesome teams. I got to answer this, Spike Fast. What is your thoughts on the Lord and Savior of dirt track racing, Kyle Larson, who left his throne in NASCAR to come to dirt and save it in 2020 and 2021? Dirt racing is alive thanks to Kyle's sacrifice. That's an interesting way to word it. I do love the Lord and Savior of dirt track racing, but he almost deserves that title. But something that bad happened to him and he lost his job in NASCAR was almost a blessing in the sense of he made history in dirt track racing, had one of the most successful years in sprint car racing history, and then went from Chip Ganassi Racing to Hendrick Motorsports, one of the best NASCAR teams that you could ever dream of racing for. So I feel like I don't think there's much sacrifice there. I think he got to feel what it was like to just race on dirt 100% of the time. And then he won a cup championship his first year in one of the best organizations you could drive for. So I think everything was meant to be. There's a reason for it all. And we're just all along for the ride.
He probably brought a lot of eyes to the deal that wouldn't normally watch, and maybe half of those have stuck around. But the sport we would still be where we're at today if Kyle Larson hadn't done that. Ironically, the sport's gone on without Steve Kinzer and Sammy and all that, and
Yep.
I don't. It's kind of become it's getting a. I don't think there's one or two or three people that make this thing. It's kind of got its own. It's its own monster.
Yep.
So, I've seen really good racing between, Kyle Larson obviously made everybody look stupid a couple of years ago, but I've seen really good races and in domination without Kyle Larson.
Yep. Donnie
So,
for years. And
yeah, Donnie and in a watered down version, Brent Marks.
Yep.
So, I don't really want to, saying Kyle's the Lord and Savior is kind of a little, guy we're sniffing the butch wax a little too much there, Spike. But
yeah, I think he's just stirring the pot a little bit.
No, I get it, but I think he's brought some attention to it.
Yep.
But I don't. I think it'd still be where it's at with him or without him.
Yeah, he's definitely helped for sure, and we appreciate that he loves sprint car racing. I got to answer this question: how can we make sprint car racing take off in the state of Florida? Top Gun needs some serious help. So, Tyler, you probably have no idea what the Top Gun series is, and this is something as a race car driver and help the world of sprint car racing. I want to help, and I want to change sprint car racing in Florida because it's an absolute mess. So, the Florida Top Gun series is a limited 360. It's a full steel-headed engine or steel block, steel head. You could run a carburetor or an injection, and you can't have any titanium or no carbon fiber. They race at all the Florida tracks, and it's a Florida-only series. So I think just like the 358 series in Pennsylvania, it is extremely, I don't want to say stupid, but it is just not a good idea to have a division that only exists in your state in one series. So, in my opinion, we have to make the decision to abolish it and maybe leak over the rules for a year or two so people could get different engines. But it needs to be a 305 series, which I'm in favor for, or a 360 series. People like Tyler Clem race in it. Danny Martin, you might know Danny Martin. He raced usually the East Bay 360 races. He's a pretty good guy. And then also just a bunch of random guys. But I want to make that series a 305 series one day. and build it up because people could actually afford to race 305s. If you make it a 360 series, Tyler Clem shows up with a $60,000 360 engine when these other guys got $20,000 engines and absolutely kills them. That doesn't solve anything. So I definitely want to help Florida. Hopefully one day I can.
How many cars do they get at a race, roughly?
So again, 15 to maybe 20 something, 21, 22. But also they threw in a non-wing race at East Bay. So then splitting up to non-wing, one, not everybody's going to run non-wing, and then two, you're going to crash more stuff running non-wing, and then you have to have a different axle, you got to have a different offset right rear wheel, and you probably need different shocks as well. So to me that creates more costs. So Daniel Mazzi, if you want to put the notice out there, I want to fix sprint car racing in Florida, I'm all for it and I will help, but it's going to take some time. That's for sure. Because there is some tracks here. We got a track an hour and 20 minutes from me. It's not the greatest, but it's decent. And they have a USCS race down here. It's like next month. I think it's December or something like that. And it's actually a pretty decent track. So this guy says Outlaws need to return to Texas Motor Speedway. Yeah, let's talk about the Outlaw schedule a little bit. That's one of the biggest disappointments that I saw on the Outlaw schedule. No Texas Motor Speedway. I'm told that there's a hurt relationship there, and that's why we don't go there. But it's a shame. A top-notch facility that we don't go to is definitely frustrating. When's the last time you've been to Texas Motor Speedway?
I think I was there with an ASCS race with Ricky back in 09 or 2010. But last time I remember it, I was there with Donnie in 03. I think, yeah, 03, I think.
And it's like a copy of Charlotte, right? Isn't it supposedly like that?
I don't know if it's exactly like Charlotte. I think Charlotte's kind of a shithole, but
Yeah.
I think the dirt's different. I think the racing's better.
Yeah.
But it's kind of got that, I call it Fargo black dirt, that kind of like what Jackson's got on it and stuff, to where it's really abrasive from the last time I was there. But the facilities, we got asked a question earlier about like I don't know what it was at the top dirt track. Well, if you go to facilities, that place probably blows Knoxville out and Eldora out of the water as far as facilities wise in Dodge City, Kansas. But yeah, if we can solve the pissing match between, the Outlaws and Texas Motor Speedway, I'm sure they would go there.
Yeah. Yep.
So, which I don't know what that's over. I'm sure it's probably like everything else. It's over something that's ridiculous.
Yep, for sure. Some guy asked, how does the crew get paid? The crew gets paid on a weekly salary, and then most of the time crew chiefs get a small percentage. I would say that's pretty standard nowadays. Like I said, some of the tire guy or car chief could get a small percentage as well, but that's more rare. But they're a typical normal employee like anybody else would, right? Taxes get taken out of your check and all that good stuff.
Yeah, taxes, and some places offer health insurance. I know my deal now, he doesn't have enough employees that he has to offer health insurance, but what he does is every week you get a stipend to go towards health insurance. So there's that. And like I got 401k, and he hasn't said nothing, and we never agreed to this, but I make him buy my gas from my truck. So I use the truck as the shop truck, but yeah, it's salary. Most crew chiefs get a percentage, and different places have health insurance. Some don't, some do. I get a stipend. I got 401k.
It's hit or miss. I would say, the NASCAR teams offer health insurance. Some teams don't. Some teams have 401k, some don't. Some are real old school, and then some are more like organizations. It's very mixed bag. You've been around, so you know that.
Right.
So here's another paid question. Lucas Randall, you think Ayrton Jensen is a good young driver? So I don't look as Ayrton Jensen as like a really young driver, in my opinion. I think he's a few years younger than me. I know his experience, say, in a 410 isn't like that many years, probably 3 years or something like that. But I think he has talent. I think he's a third generation driver. He doesn't have his crew chief that he had this past year. Chad, I think they split up. But he has flashes of times he's very fast. I remember his first time in Eldora, he was really good. There's times at Knoxville, he's really fast. I say the talent is there.
Yeah, I agree. He's got a huge upside. It's up to him whether he does anything with it or not. I mean, I haven't spent a lot of time around him. He seems like a nice guy. And seems like he wants to do it, but I don't know him that well. Just, he has flashes.
Yep.
So
Yep, for sure.
I think I'm trying to everything when you get old, everything runs together. But this year at Knoxville, I think he was okay, but I think the year before he might have been a tad better or
Yep.
had better results. But I can't remember to where it wasn't like, I think 2 years ago when we watched him, it's like, holy shit, look at this. And then last year it was, but it happened. It's the ebbs and flows of the racing thing. But I think if he, focuses on racing and puts his mind to it, and, and a lot of it's timing and destiny, who he gets to work on the car or opportunity or any of that. I think with him, probably the sky's the limit, but
Yeah.
we shall see. I don't
Yeah.
think he's terrible.
Yeah. No, not at all. Yeah. So if people are watching this, please give it a thumbs up, hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We plan on doing this maybe weekly or bi-weekly. We're going to have drivers, different crew chiefs, definitely exciting people on here. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. Tanner Holmes is a very good young driver. So obviously Tanner was kind of the first guy to have his YouTube channel for sprint car racing. I don't know if you know that, Tyler, or know of him, but he's from Oregon, first kid to really put YouTube and sprint car racing on the map. I would say I was the second guy. And he's got like 60,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I believe he gets to race because of the income he makes from social media and now sponsorship from it. And now he, travels across the country racing with his own team. So it looks like he's got pretty good talent. It looks like he wants to do it. I think it's going to be hard for him to grow. It's his own team. I don't really know who sets it up. I think at some point you need a good mechanic or a good crew chief to win at the top level. Do you know anything about him?
I've seen him. I mean, I'd be honest, I don't know that much about him. I mean, this whole YouTube shit you guys do, I watch a Minnesota Viking podcast on YouTube. I watch music videos on YouTube, and I'm a huge Pat McAfee fan.
Yeah.
So that's all the YouTube I got, because really racing stuff don't interest me. So, I'm not a fan. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I use YouTube to get away from this shit. So I know who he is. He does good. I think this past year I paid attention because we didn't travel as much as what I'm used to. I think I got to watch him a little bit. I mean, he does a good job. I mean, he probably like a lot of them needs to get off the farm and come this way. To elevate yourself, but
for sure. So how do you like how the Minnesota Vikings are doing this year? I know you like their record, but how are you feeling about the Vikings this year?
The last couple of years they would have been 2-10 and with one score games. Now they're winning them. So I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm just enjoying the ride. This is it's got a new first time head coach, first time GM. They call it a competitive rebuild. They're taking all the old players pretty much in doing this with them, and their top two draft picks are on IR the rest of the year. And I think they got a huge upside. So, I mean, we traded for TJ Hawkinson. We pretty much stole him from Detroit. I think he could be a lifetime, I think they're doing the right things. They give me an aneurysm. And I don't get into my sports. Like, I'm an Iowa Hawkeye fan, but like the Iowa Hawkeye football team, you expect them to be boring and you expect them to keep it close. You expect them to suck on offense. On the basketball team, I like to watch it, but I don't understand enough to, know what the hell that inner workings is going on. But the Vikings, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of them. So
I could say they're doing a good job this year, but not as good as job as first year head coach Nathaniel Hackett with the Denver Broncos. Just a great job this year. An offensive mastermind to be 32nd in offensive production is damn impressive, especially with a $250 million quarterback. Like,
yeah, that's going to be on the books for 6 years.
yes,
Russell Wilson. Yeah, I think when they
great
hired
news.
Nathaniel Hackett, I think they thought they were going to get Aaron Rodgers. I really think that because he come from Green Bay. I think they thought they were going to get Rodgers, and they ended up with Russell, which I thought, well, I think Russell's a hell of a quarterback, but
Yeah.
man, I don't know if you and I could probably do better. I mean, we could do as bad, and I would do as shitty for half.
Yeah.
At least the meetings would be entertaining.
Yeah, I don't understand how it's that bad. Now we have injuries
terrible
to our wide receivers, but like I don't know, they lost to the Ravens, they lost Lamar Jackson, and then Tyler Huntley comes in and they win the game. Like it just everybody's next man up. Like the Titans, you can't name any of the Titans receivers. I know one, but all their other receivers, they got like no offense, but they have a winning record, right? Like the Giants offense, take out Saquon Barkley. Who do they really have at receiver? They have a winning record.
The commies, the Washington commies.
Yeah. Terry McLaurin, you take him out. Who else do they have that you can name on their team?
Yeah,
on
but
offense?
that since Taylor Heineke's taken over from Carson Wentz, I think.
Yep.
They freaking I think they've only lost one game. They're like 7-1 or 6-1.
Yeah. They've been on a heater and not a talented team.
No, but they it's kind of like our Canaric deal. Some of these teams, we might all have been a bunch of B guys, but we've raced really well together. And I think sometimes he's in NFL. Now the Eagles, and as much as I throw up in my mouth saying this, and the Cowboys, I think they're on their own level right now. But like the commies and some of these other teams, like you're saying, they're winning, and they're like, who are these people? Yeah. I just think sometimes
the Seahawks.
The Sea Chickens.
Yeah. I think the 49ers are going to be tough. And I think the Eagles are going to be tough. And the Cowboys, if Dak could sling it, they're going to be tough. But Dak's going to have to be able to throw. But, it's going to be interesting. I hope it's Buffalo and the Chiefs and the championship. And I hope it's, I don't know, 49ers and somebody else. It would be cool if that
Vikings.
Whatever. I don't care. But this guy says F the NFL. I'm out of here. But that Brock Purdy, it'll be cool to see if that Brock Purdy guy could step up for the 49ers.
He's from Iowa State.
Oh, really?
Iowa State, yep.
He's hyped up right now. So
yeah.
All right, Dave,
he was a slinger.
This guy says we're talking racing here, not football. Well, we've been on here for 2.5 hours, so just part of it. All right, so I think we're going to end it here, Tyler. I appreciate it. I think 2.5 hours was a lot longer than I expected. Hopefully you enjoyed your time. Hopefully time went by pretty fast. You're the first official guest on our live stream, so feel honored.
I'm your first. I was your
first
first
World of Outlaw winner.
I'm your first guest on your podcast.
Yep. So feel appreciated. Thanks for toughing it out, being an older generation, not doing YouTube. You came here and you persevered. So I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
I got to thank everybody. Please like the video, share it, tell your friends about it. Make sure you comment and subscribe. I need more subscribers. I need more views. If you guys are new to the channel, I got like 200 videos on my channel. Check all the old ones out. Throw a comment on and say, hey, I like this video, or hey, I hate this video. Tell me what I got to do to be better. Appreciate you guys. I'm out of here. Tyler, thank you. Carter, thank you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this first stream with split screen. It's not perfect, but we're going to get better at it. We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Peace out.